And welcome to the 2021 NFL Draft Recap Show, brought to you by Primetime Sports Talk. I'm your producer, Zach. I've got Mason, Alex, and Jack. They've been riding with me and the whole squad the entire draft. We watched picks 1 through 259. We've got some opinions. We'll air them out. If you guys have your opinions, feel free to put them in the chat. Want to hear what y'all think of this pretty wild and very surprising, as Mason says, draft.
Oh, boy.
I want to start with one pick I'm shocked about because I've had him in the top 100. Ar'Darius Washington. He ends up an undrafted free agent, and quickly I haven't seen him sign anywhere just yet.
He has not signed anywhere right now.
What do we think about this?
We're gonna be looking through undrafted free agents right now. So if there's Ar'Darius Washington. The Packers just signed Carlos Kemp as a undrafted free agent. I think that's pretty good. But with Ar'Darius Washington, he was my second highest safety on my board, which is kind of insane that he's available. But the issue there is his height and his weight, so he's like 5'8", 176. He's also not the fastest. That is the only reason I could see him not being drafted. I mean, whoever gets him is getting a steal. We saw Dylan Moses go to Jacksonville a little bit ago. So there's a lot of good players still available that have not been signed anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Washington's a shock to me, to be honest. I had him top 100, second round, maybe early third round, and then just
Kenny Yeboah to the Jets. That's big, very
nice.
big.
Yeah, that's
a good pickup right there.
Yeah, I like that.
That is their
Pairing
new
with,
starting tight end, probably, as an undrafted free agent. That is great pickup for your dynasty league teams. Go get Kenny Yeboah.
Yeah,
that is really good value. But there's a few guys I want to look at here. Spencer Brown, running back from UAB. I kind of want to see where he goes. Greg Jackson, center from Kentucky. Obviously, Tariq Thompson and Ar'Darius Washington. Ar'Darius seems kind of pissed off, obviously. I would be. Tariq kind of seems like he's got a bigger chip on his shoulder than he always does. So,
yeah, I'm upset about that one, to be honest. Yeah. Tariq he's a damn good football player. He plays the game the right way. He does everything that you need him to do, and well. It's a weird thing because, like, Isaiah Simmons fell farther than he had any reason to when he came out last year. Some of these guys that are just weapon players aren't getting that love, and it's fascinating to see because we've long said versatility is key, and these guys are like the ultimate versatile kind of guys, and they're just not getting that love. I want to see just why that is.
The draft is weird sometimes, but this is I had Ar'Darius Washington as an early second round pick, so this is big.
Yeah, I thought he was going at least 3.
Third round. That drop there has to be something, and size and speed are not it, because there are plenty of guys that are not as good as him. Maybe they're a little bigger, but that's it. That's the only difference. That went and got picked. This can't just be that. I don't know if there's an injury, maybe in character concern. I don't know, but nothing that I've seen. And this dude dropped 5 rounds where he should have been picked.
Some teams will give out some large salary cap, some signing bonuses to some players. Kenny Yeboah just got a $20,000 signing bonus for the Jets.
The Chargers just signed linebacker. Yeah. don't even know how to say his last name.
Bamiga. That's
Yeah.
I spent time reading that one because I love it. So
Yeah.
just I want to get good at that one.
Packers signed another Iowa lineman. So there's 2 undrafted Iowa players for Green Bay already. It's a good pickup
Meanwhile,
for the Chargers. I
Yeah.
had some people know him as a 5th, 6th round guy. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of value in this draft that fell a lot, right? Like Dylan Moses ending up being a undrafted guy, and I mean, I understand. To be honest, knees are terrifying, especially on a linebacker. That's
yeah.
a scary spot to have an injury at. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I still probably would have taken a 7th round flyer on him or a 6th round flyer. That's the ideal spot to take those kinds of guys. But Jacksonville getting him in the undrafted free agent pool is a great pickup.
So another thing here is
Phenomenal.
Tamori Terry to Seattle. That is, I don't know what Seattle's trying to do, but vertical threat. That's what Terry is. So that is their DK Metcalf. They already have Eskridge. They have Lockett. I mean, they were good with their 3 picks. So
Yeah.
And they picked up offensive linemen. If they can protect Russell Wilson, there's no reason for them to be bad.
no,
No.
It's just whether they can actually protect Russell Wilson. Because they just don't. I mean, we'll keep updated on undrafted guys. I kind of want to just start by running through each team and seeing how we feel about each pick. ESPN has them alphabetical, so we'll just go in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
First team is the Cardinals.
they did really good in round 7.
I like what they did.
Yeah, I mean, they've had Zaven Collins, Rondale Moore, Marco Wilson, Victor Dimukeje, Tay Gowan, James Wiggins, and Michael Bennett.
That
Those
Michael
last-
Bennett pick is very good.
Those last 3 picks are outstanding.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love the Zaven Collins pick. I know, Mason, you're a big Zaven Collins guy. I'm a big Zaven Collins guy. That was a great pickup for them. The fact that they're going to be able to pair him now with Isaiah Simmons in the front 7 is going to be horrifying.
Yeah.
Rondale Moore is a very interesting pickup. I don't think receiver was a gigantic need for them necessarily, but he gives you a lot of options just with his speed. They can maybe even play him out of the backfield. Tay Gowan, like that pickup a lot, and then James Wiggins, another really good pickup for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
I think overall they did pretty good. Y'all addressed it. Collins is a freak of an athlete and a very solid linebacker. Rondale Moore is just exciting. I like watching him play. And then, like y'all said, those last 3 picks of Gowan, Wiggins, and Bennett, those are great picks. I think they hit well in this draft, and Kingsbury is set up to have a good team this year.
So, kind of getting a little bit outside of everything draft-wise here. There was a story today about Aaron Rodgers letting Brian Gutekunst fired. So, Goody's Yahoo report is live right now. He said that Aaron hasn't said anything to him, and he says that that's a little unfair to put that on him. Nothing's been communicated directly to him. So, I guess this whole Aaron Rodgers saga is going to keep going. So,
Wow.
fun time.
June 1st, circle the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Because there's no way they're going to trade him before that.
they can.
And,
No.
yeah, no. And
2022 first, 2022 third, Jerry Judy, and Von Miller.
Von Miller?
Says
I'm not giving you Von Miller if you're taking Jerry Judy. Hell no.
Damn it.
You're getting Von. You're either getting.
You
You can take
dropped a
Von,
hard
but
bargain.
you're not doing that with Jerry Judy in there. Get out of here. That's the kind of package I'd give for Deshaun Watson, who's 25, and I mean,
and the drop off
Walt
is
Fillier to
that
the
big.
Vikings. That's
Who?
another. Walt Fillier.
Chris Berman better be on every call for every
Ah.
game he plays.
Yeah.
It's a good pickup for them.
Yeah, I love
They
that.
got Hillier and Blake Kroll.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to the Vikings, man. They murdered it.
Yeah, they were.
They were outstanding. We'll just keep going, I guess. The Falcons, I thought, had a very interesting draft. Pretty good one. Kyle Pitts at 4. Richie Grant, Jalen Mayfield, Darren Hall, Drew Dahlman, Taquan Graham, Adetokunbo, Ogadiji, Avery Williams, and Frank Darby.
I mean, they didn't get a running back, but they did grab Javion Hawkins in free agency just now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a new regime. They're really setting the tone for what they want from their players. That's all I can really say. I really like the Reggie Grant was a good pick. I love the value they got with Frank Darby.
Yeah. Frank Darby was a great pick.
Pitts makes that offense terrifying.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
That's just not going to be fun to play against no matter what team.
Like, you're going to have guys that are going to be able to cover those 3 guys, plus the fact that they're going to have Frank Darby possibly in some 3 wide receiver sets. Not like Frank Darby a lot, actually. So that's going to be a very, very fun offense.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if you can run 11 personnel and you have Ridley, Julio, Pitts, Darby, and Mike Davis as your running back, I think you're feeling pretty good. Like, that's a good offense. They should be able to produce a lot. Jalen Mayfield could be in a role to start week 1 at tackle.
Mm.
They should be set up. Let's be honest.
Offensively,
Yeah, at least offense.
Defense, we'll see.
they could probably add some undrafted free agents here pretty quick, specifically one at safety here. But
Yeah.
Every team could add him, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't even matter at this point. He's a UDFA. There's no
he gets to pick where he goes. That's all that matters.
there's no expectations to him. Fit doesn't matter at this point. Just bring him in on a contract and see what he's got. Get him on film for other teams and just roll with it. That's where you're at with with Ardarius at this point.
Yeah, there's other teams that can sign like 20 free agents, undrafted free agents, and like one of them is going to end up making a team with them. So, like, just roll the dice.
I mean, you may as well. Baltimore, this one, as per usual, is a pretty looking draft.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman, Odafe Owe, Ben Cleveland, Brandon Stevens, Tylan Wallace, Sean Wade, Dalen Hayes, and Ben Mason.
The Wallace and Bateman picks. They got 2 top 12 receivers. I don't know what else I can really say besides that. So
Yeah, that Wallace pick was a good value, too.
Insane value.
Yeah.
That Wade pick can turn out very well, too, if they use them how they probably should, either the slot or maybe more of a hybrid, maybe in the box, possibly. But I like him more as a slot corner, personally.
wait, whoa.
Did you just see a ghost?
Wait, whoa.
What?
We're
What?
rolling.
I think you just went somewhere.
Please say New England.
I think Tariq just went to Buffalo.
Tariq did?
Yeah.
Damn, that's nice.
Wow, that's good.
I'm scrambling.
Holy. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sage
Buffalo.
Sherrod.
Nice. Good for him, though. Good for him.
I'm happy for him, man. That's a
Sure.
good spot, too.
You should hit up Marshawn Lynch and talking or try to see if we can find out about the Dave & Buster's and the Applebee's up there. Heard they're really good.
I think there was something that said Buffalo when his buddies told him, go do your thing in Buffalo. So Drake Thompson to Buffalo.
Sage Sherrod to the Lions.
I hate that.
Get the tables.
Austin Watson to the Niners?
Nice.
Wow.
That's a good.
Oh my god!
Nice.
Wow.
That's another guy. I'm shocked he fell out of the draft entirely.
Yeah.
Is Jimmy G gonna like play himself back into a starting role permanently with the Niners if this all goes well? Because I feel like they're either trying to set up Trey Lance down the line, or trying to tell Jimmy like, yeah, like you're 100% gone no matter what. So we're gonna try to get your trade value like jumped up.
Yeah. I mean, why don't we ask Kyle Shanahan? Is he even going to be alive tomorrow?
I mean, we have about in my case, about 4 hours and 15 minutes.
So we'll see.
We're in all different time zones here.
But I don't know. What happens with Jimmy G is going to be really interesting, especially because Trey Lance is a guy who I think needs a year, and the Niners are looking to compete. So I think they roll Jimmy G this year.
Although they're definitely going to roll him this year, but at any point, do you think Lance maybe gets in, depending on how things goes, or are they just going to ride Jimmy G the whole way?
If this season goes sideways for them, there's no reason to start Garoppolo over Lance.
So if that's the case, do you dump Jimmy G at the deadline, or do you just let him walk?
I think you got to gauge the trade market because you can get a pretty good haul for him. Like, I actually think he's worth some value just because he has been able to take a team to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you can get some value for him.
Oh.
See where the
Oh
market's
my
at.
god. The Ravens just got Washington.
Are you shitting me?
How they can't keep getting away with this? They can't keep getting away with this.
And they got Adrian Ely.
How?
Damn,
How do
dude.
they keep doing this?
What?
Oh my god! You're joking, right?
Are you kidding me?
I mean, as long as this source is reliable, I'm not sure. It's from his count. I've never heard of
Ozzie
it.
Newsome like never leave.
That's damn.
Is he running like a shadow operation of the Ravens that we just don't know about?
I mean,
Oh,
that was
Like
beautiful.
every
That's a
year.
beautiful pick.
Like if you're talking about the teams that like draft the best and then kind of that get their guys better than anyone else,
what
the conversation.
Cade Johnson to Seattle too?
Wow.
All right, Mason, I'm going to let you sound off on Nick Bolton real quick if you want. We got the comment here. I get teams didn't want linebackers this year, but in my opinion, Parsons and Bolton are the best pure linebackers in the draft.
I mean, if you want a linebacker that can't cover and isn't quick, then sure.
I think
If
Parsons is obviously the best. I would say
If we're
Collins
talking
probably.
about Bolton, then I don't know what you're seeing, honestly.
I mean, there's always going to be a niche for linebackers that can defend against
He's
the run.
just a thumper, and he's not the greatest at tackling. So,
Yeah, there's always going to be a spot for guys like that.
I mean, next to Willie Gay, he'll do fine. But I'm not a Nick Bolton guy at all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Parsons, though, I get it. Like, he wasn't my guy. And if you're taking pure talent, I'm for it. I think he is the most talented and
Oh, for sure.
linebacker in this class. What I'll say is, like, I took him off my board once I started hearing about some of that off-field stuff. I just have no interest in having that on my team.
Ooh, Felipe Franks to the Falcons.
Yep, I just saw it.
Interesting. I like it, to be honest. I'm not a huge Felipe Franks guy, but that's not a bad spot for him.
Kind of a good one here, but the Packer Gutekunst just said he wanted to try to get a linebacker earlier in the draft. So I mean, I'm perfectly fine with McDuffie. So I'm happy.
I thought y'all had a pretty all right draft.
It was okay. I love the McDuffie and the Kylan Hill picks.
Yeah,
So,
no, those are good ones.
yes, Cade, I would have taken Slater before Parsons. But that's just me. You guys kind of that whole draft strategy got screwed up when Carolina and Denver went corner. So
Yeah.
That that was crazy, and I'll say right now, like, I was not expecting Denver to go Surtain. I was expecting Justin Fields, to be 100% honest. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, George Payton's got some testicular fortitude to stand up in front of an entire fan base who has not made the playoffs in 5 years, where they have not, where it's been quarterback play as a bit the main problem. And when you have one of the best quarterbacks in this draft and not pick him, that is some testicular fortitude that man has. And I think it was incredible.
Wow. So David Moore, who the Panthers signed, the Grambling State guard, base salary of $110,000 and a $15,000 signing bonus.
I don't know much about UDFA money, but that sounds pretty big.
That's big UDFA money.
Cowboys made a deal with the Devils. I don't feel bad for the Giants, though.
Nope, I don't either. I love it. Teams are just sabotaging each other.
Oh,
It's
man.
awesome.
Chaos is a ladder.
Drake Jackson to Detroit. That's a great pickup for them. He shouldn't have been drafted. I had him as a third-round prospect.
I might become like a closet Detroit Lions fan at some point this year. I don't know when, but it's probably going to happen.
The Cardinals signed which tight end was that? Kerry Angeline, NC State.
I liked him actually as a tight end prospect. I thought he was interesting.
Goody just said that he'll add some undrafted free agent receivers. So I mean, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Let's jump to Buffalo.
Chris, taking Kylan Hill over a punter was the right decision. So, just saying.
Buffalo.
Gregory Rosso, Carlos Basham, Spencer Brown, Tommy Doyle, Marquez Stevenson, DeMar Hamlin, Rashad Wildgoose, and Jack Anderson. Adding Tariq Thompson and UDFAs.
The DeMar Hamlin selection in the 6th round is insane. Getting Tariq to pair with him as two developmental safeties. If you want to call Tariq a safety, that is perfect behind what you have in Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Getting Spencer Brown in the 3rd, another great steal. That is, I mean, Buffalo really wanted to get some help on the interior, and they really did by taking Basham and Rousseau and then Doyle and Brown. They had their focus, and they attacked it.
I feel like Buffalo didn't do anything that was necessarily gigantic for the now, but they had a great draft for down the road. And they're one of the teams that was in the best position possible to do that. Like Rosso, like he's going to come in. He has no short-term major expectations right away, I would say. Like maybe down the line, yeah. But right out of the gate, he can kind of get used to the NFL system. Still, fine-tune his craft because he isn't a complete product yet. But once he becomes a complete product, that pick years down the road is going to be looked at pretty fondly, I would imagine. Like that was a really good pickup on my end, personally.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is like Buffalo didn't need anything like too big in the short term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This year they're in a really good spot to do exactly what they did. So
the AFC just got a whole lot better. So
the AFC teams dominated in this draft. They did an outstanding job. Just kind of looking down
the NFC North.
And the NFC North. Every team just had some really, really good picks.
There's not really a team that I see like this draft was bad other than maybe one. So,
Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas did not have a good draft.
Dallas did not have a good draft. The Josh Ball pick in, what was that, the 4th round, 5th round? That is awful.
Horrible. Yeah, they did not have a good draft.
Yeah.
Like, the Odigizua pick, I like it. But
I like that one.
the Josh Ball selection. I mean, it fits what Jerry Jones likes, I guess, but man,
Yeah, go Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jabril Cox was their best pick for sure.
Jabril Cox. I mean, that's
that's
And
great
he-
value too.
he doesn't even. He probably won't even play this year. So
Yeah,
I still like that pick for him.
I mean, he's what their fourth linebacker in the rotation now.
yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with that because Van Der Esch missed so much time last
Yeah.
year, and Jalen Smith
They're
missed
going
time
to pick up his
last year.
fifth-year option, so it's gonna
Jalen
be,
Smith is gone.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah. So, and then Sean Lee just retired. So,
I mean, it's good value. I like it, but it's everything else besides the Cox pick and then the Odigizua pick. Yikes!
I don't want to jump too hard on him for Micah Parsons. To be fully
I mean,
honest,
Parsons
Oh,
is
yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah, the
It's-
talent's there. It's just
The talent's there. It's just the character issues that.
I mean, character issues aside, if you're talking just football player, Micah Parsons was one of the two most talented defensive players in this draft.
Yes.
I would
Hit him
say
so
probably
bad.
3. I would say the
Probably,
top 2 corners, and then that's basically it.
So him, Surtain, and
Horn. Yeah, I would say
Those-
it's Sertan,
those
Horn,
three.
and him.
So, I mean, that's a good pick if you're going solely based on football. And he'll do some good things if he can keep himself out of trouble.
Of course.
Ooh, Eagles got another pass rusher,
Well,
What do you got?
Jaquan Bailey from Iowa State.
that's a good one.
Great dude.
It's the fact I still can't get over Ardarius Washington, dude.
Yeah,
And of course, he goes to. How many picks did Baltimore have today? And each time I was like, okay, this is Ardarius Washington. And they get him as an undrafted free agent.
yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah, Kate, I agree 100%. It's not his fault that he tore his Achilles in a bowl game. At no point.
Oh,
And that was a horrible, horrible injury. What
Yeah.
happened to him?
oh yeah.
What team are we at next?
I
next-
believe it's the Panthers, right?
Yeah, Panthers.
Because we already
Carolina.
covered. I mean, we covered Baltimore, so it's Carolina.
Then we kind of
Carolina.
covered Dallas a little bit, but
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. Well, we're good on
I mean, we
Dallas.
pretty
We'll
much
skip
covered
them.
Dallas, so I can skip through that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want
Um,
to talk about him too much.
I like the Panthers draft actually.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
J.C. Horn, Terrace Marshall, Brady Christensen, Tommy Tremble, Chuba Hubbard, Davion Nixon, Keith Taylor, Deontay Brown, Shee Smith, Thomas Fletcher, and Phil Hoskins.
Oh my God, Immature
Dude,
Jaguars.
Who?
Brady got his guy.
Who did you get?
Which guy?
Josh and
Immature Bay.
Immature
Immature Bay went to Jacksonville.
That's a
Nice.
really good pickup, man. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Brady said he'll be in
TJ
as soon as he
Vasher
can.
to Dallas. That's a good one.
Oh shit!
Man,
But
Um,
back to the Panthers. I like what they did. They have a lot of good picks here.
I love
JC
what they
Horn.
did.
JC Horn. solid.
How did you get Davion Nixon that late?
Yeah,
know.
I don't
That
know.
front four of Burns, Gross Matos, Derek Brown, and Davion Nixon's gonna be nasty.
Horrifying.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
I mean,
reminiscent of what San Francisco had.
they built something impressive just through the draft, and these are all guys I think can do some stuff this year. Horn's a guy that I think you can plug and play.
Yep.
Marshall knows Joe Brady's system, so I think he'll be a guy who can be productive. Christensen, I don't know enough about him to say whether he can
Christensen might start at left tackle.
Yeah.
I think he can start week one though. Tremble's a guy who
Oh,
can
yeah.
be productive week one. Hubbard can take some carries off of Christian McCaffrey. Nixon next to Derek Brown. I mean, all these guys, man.
Deontay Brown.
Brown.
Yeah. These are all guys that can contribute day one. They got him throughout the entire draft. That's a really nice draft for them.
And don't forget the long snapper.
Oh, of course.
Can't
Yeah.
forget the long snapper, Thomas Fletcher.
Yeah, that was their
Day
best
one
pick. Yeah, that was easily their best pick.
A++.
Yeah, he's guaranteed to work out.
Who? Thomas Graham?
No, Thomas Fletcher.
Oh,
Yeah. Show some respect
Come on.
to the pride of Tuscaloosa.
He is the embodiment of Roll Tide.
Overall ranked 285 on ESPN.
That's garbage.
Position ranked number 1.
There you go. All right.
I'll take position rank number 1.
The disrespect to put him 285.
That's what I'm saying.
Cheers.
Long snappers. If we're gonna sit here and say respect the brand, we have to respect the long snappers. Like we have no choice.
How do we get the ball to the punter without a long snapper?
Yeah, I think a center snapping a ball 20 yards back, no chance.
No.
I think Jason Kelsey's gonna be able to do that. Absolutely no shot. And then defend the punt? No.
Nope.
No chance. None.
John Dornbos is my dude.
Brady is ear to ear smiling right now, and this is. All right, I'm gonna jump straight to Jacksonville just because I want to hear what Brady has to say.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Let me scroll that.
Oh my!
You want a draft recap? Or you want like a UDFA recap? Like,
Yes.
All right, let's start with draft. We'll start with draft. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell, Walker Little, Andre Cisco, Jay Tufele, Jordan Smith, Luke Farrell, and Jalen Camp.
all right, let's start with the elephant in the room. You don't draft running backs in the first round. Well, I'm going to dispel that right here because I think they're going to use him in a Curtis Samuel role. Like Samuel was used at Ohio State, 2017, 2016. Lot of sweeps, a lot of movement, and I think we're going to see him run a few more routes. And if that's the way they're going to use him, it's a great pick because there's reports that they're thinking about taking Tony at 25 over Etienne. So really, it's an explosive guy is what they wanted. So I'm fine with that. If that's the premise that they're going to use him for, great pick. Tyson Campbell, I think they're building the defense secondary in. They have a really solid defensive line rotation, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I think Tyson Campbell is going to be an outside corner, and they're going to move Henderson inside. Walker Little, honestly, is probably my favorite pick because it's boom bust. If it hits, it hits. Like it's going to hit big. But if it doesn't hit, well, you know what? We spent another pick out of O-line, and that's fine. He's not going to play this year. You already have Cam Robinson making $14 million at left tackle. Juwan Taylor is probably not going to give up his right tackle spot. He's still extremely solid and had a new O-line coach last year, so just getting better. Andre Cisco, that's a slam dunk pick. Again, I spoke yesterday about it. I think he's going to be that 78 to 83 overall in Madden. Very solid player. There's going to be some games where it's not good, but there's going to be other games where just great. Jay Tufele, good penetrator. Really like the pick. I think he's a good rotational player. I think he will get better in his pass rushing moves. I know I only watched a few games, but I saw both the D linemen, the big other guys that the Eagles got, they got washed a lot during the run. So I think that's good that we have a good support around him. Jordan Smith, tools, upside, love it, love that pick. Then Jalen Camp is I think it's a long-term pick. And I think Josh Imatorbhebhe, who we also just signed as a UDFA, they're both two long-term picks, but they're both freakish in athleticism. They have for height, weight, adjusted, relative athletic scores, they're both elite prospects. Imatorbhebhe would have broken the combine record for vertical leap had there been one. It was 46.5. Just insane. A lot of people say both of them aren't good trackers, but that's not true at all. For camp, it was like some of the most inaccurate passes I've seen in like a while, and he was making back shoulder catches and everything, which is why I thought he was going to be a Green Bay Packer. To be honest with you, the back shoulder adjustments were all there. Yeah, overall, like I love the way that they addressed a lot of these positions. So I'm ecstatic. And Dylan Moses too. Like, come on, we don't even need him to start. Give him a year to rest. Sure.
Yeah, you guys are in a position where you could take that flyer on Moses and be just fine.
You guys could have drafted him and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problems with what Jacksonville did. I actually think they did a really, really nice job.
Oh yeah.
Even as an outsider, kind of, Brady or a fan analysis kind of guy, I'm like watching from the outside. I'm like, I like what they did. I don't mind the ETN pick either.
Yeah, I think you got to ask what was the objective of the draft and of the offseason? Was it to support Trevor Lawrence, maximize his contract? He's going to be getting if he's built up to be everything he is, he's going to be the next guy to break the NFL paid record, whatever. So you got to maximize these 5 years. How can you do that? Well, you get an O-lineman that can hopefully start next year while maximizing the 5 guys you have right now. You have a shitload of weapons and Marvin Jones, and then the receiving core we already have. So the big problem was, the secondary giving up 40 points a game last year. Overall, I'm extremely impressed with the process, even though I questioned it at times because I'm a fan, and I think they did a good job supporting Trevor Lawrence. I'm really happy.
How much impact do you think Urban Meyer had coming from those college ranks?
Like how much did him being an analyst at college affect the picks?
Yeah, and just kind of having someone who's more in touch and tune with college athletics help with the scouting and getting to these kinds of players.
Massive. I know Jay Tufele. He was the analyst for USC for like half of their games last year, or no, in 2019, I think, 2020, one of the years. So he's definitely watched all of these guys, and he definitely has a good understanding. But I also think it's the connections, because early on, one of the press conferences he said, we're not really going to take a shot on people we don't know. And that means that a coaching staff member had to be there, had a relationship or so on. So I think it played a significant role. And I think, that's why the obvious picks like Merrick, maybe there just wasn't a connection there. So who knows?
Yeah, I love what they did. Just plain out. We'll go back to Chicago. This is the next one we're at. Not too many picks. They went Justin Fields, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Baram, Khalil Herbert, Daz Newsome, Thomas Graham, and Curious Tonga. Curious Tonga.
Their last 3 picks on day 3 were outstanding. Tonga, he could team up with Akeem Hicks. Newsome was a good receiver. Thomas Graham might be their starter in the slot. So, getting that in the 6th, 7th round where they got him, it's a steal.
Yeah, Fields, Jenkins, and I thought Thomas Graham were all A+ slam dunk picks. But like Graham, I literally wrote it in my, I believe it was my Bucks mock draft. Ironically enough, I had him going in the 6th round to the Bucks. I'm like, there's no way he's going to last to that point, and he didn't. Because most of what I was seeing, just getting the feel, was around 2nd, maybe 3rd round. And they ended up getting him in the 6th. That was a great pick. Tevin Jenkins, phenomenal pick. And then the trade up, they get Justin Fields. Again, also phenomenal. And even if that pick, let's just say the Bears, let's just say they go 4-12 next year, and then Fields doesn't really, get any real playing time. And then that pick for Carolina, or not Carolina, the Giants, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's say the Giants end up getting like someone along the lines of like a Derek Stingley, for example. And then Fields starts in 2022, and then he goes ballistic, and then the Bears are a perennial Super Bowl contender. That's not going to matter. So I know it was a steep price to move up 9 spots, but if it ends up working out, that's going to be one of the great trades in the history of Chicago sports, I would imagine.
Mhm.
So let's have that Justin Fields conversation. How high are we on him and his ability to produce this year and then also going forward?
I don't know
I'll
about
start.
this year. Oh, okay. No, you can go.
Yeah, sure. I have him as my second ranked player on my big board. So I mean from what you read in the media versus what the reality of the situation is, Ohio State has long developing routes. And that throws people off who don't understand what the receivers are running. Chris Olave has 2 different options in his routes. And what that means is you have to take that 3rd to 4th second to watch what the receiver is doing. So the progression and the reading and the decision making is significant, and it's there. And in the Chicago system, I don't know if it's going to be the same next year because Matt Nagy will probably not be there, but he can make those. He can make those reads. I do worry about the offensive line and holding the ball though, and that's where I think having 8 games behind Nick Foles or Andy Dalton, that I think that will really help. And I think that Tevin Jenkins pick is going to be a difference maker in year 2 or 3. But overall, I love it, and it completely changes the dynamic of their offense. They now have a real rushing threat instead of a scrambler and Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I really like that what they went with Jenkins with the second pick because that really solidifies they want to be able to protect Fields. So I think he's going to do a great job there with protection. They can find other guys, going into next year, get some good offensive linemen. That'll be really solid going into year 2. So.
I'll say that I'm pretty sure his year 2 is going to be better than his year 1. Because to kind of backpack on the Matt Nagy point, there's no reason he should be the Bears head coach beyond this year. I'm of the opinion he's the worst head coach in the league currently. I have no clue how he didn't get fired after this year. And, I mean, Fields could do good under him, but I think the best case scenario is they move on from Nagy after this offseason. They bring in a new offensive style head coach, whoever that end up may being, who knows. And then they try to get him coached up in a new system, and hopefully that sticks. Because I don't think Nagy is a long-term answer there in Chicago whatsoever. Or Ryan Pace, really, for that matter, even though I thought he had a really good draft.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, Brian Pace may have just saved his job.
Correct.
I think this is a really solid draft. Justin Fields, man, I don't understand the hate for him, to be completely honest.
Me neither.
I think he's got all the intangibles. He's got the heart. He's got all of that coming with him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, and I think the Bears got a good one. Trading up and giving up what they did doesn't matter because now you have a guy who can make a good throw and read defenses. I think, sure, you can say it was a little steep, but 2 years from now, you're not going to remember that. You're just going to say, yeah, we have Justin Fields.
Exactly.
So,
and I wonder, I question how much of this was ownership versus Pace. How
That's a good
because Pace would have drafted another impact player that can start day 1, whereas Fields might not start day 1. So I just wonder how much of this was Pace trying to save his job versus, hey, ownership saying, Justin Fields is there. You're going to take him. We're in this room. You're going to trade whatever you need to get that guy. And we'll give you another, $5 million to stay here.
I mean, it's the right move no matter who's picking it. And I get it. And I was watching a different live stream after we went off the air. They're saying, like, if you're making picks based on job security, you have a real problem. And well, Chicago does have a real problem. Let's be honest. I think there's a lot of division within all of their ranks. So I wouldn't have been surprised by it. Would have been bad, but wouldn't have been surprised by it. But they're gonna like what they get from Fields. I think it would be good for Andy Dalton to start day one, and just let Fields kind of catch up a little bit. Let him learn. If it's not going anywhere by week 8 or 9, sure, let's go Justin Fields, get him some game time, and see what happens. Next up, we've got the Bengals. They went Jamar Chase, Jackson Carman, Joseph Osai, Cam Sample, Tyler Shelvin, Deontay Smith, Evan McPherson, Trey Hill, Chris Evans, and Wyatt Hubert.
This draft confuses the hell out of me. Like that Carmen pick is like so stupid. Like they really reached for an offensive tackle when they should have drafted one in the first round. And Sewell, they should have instead of Chase. Like I don't know if you guys probably agree with me with that, but
I don't necessarily think there was a right or wrong choice there. But it just depends. If you took Chase, which they did, you definitely had to hit on whatever offensive lineman you were going to take in the second, and I don't think they did here.
No, they didn't. And then
I'm with you. I think it should have been Sewell. But like Jack said, it wasn't a bad pick because I went with a different guy than I wanted. Mm-hmm. Sewell or Chase were both going to be great options. I get why they went Chase. You already have that built-in chemistry with Joe Burrow. I'm not going to kill him for it. I do think there was better value at where they got Carmen and could have gotten someone else.
Agreed.
Honestly, I a little bit disagree. I'm giving them an A-. Jamar Chase is literally one of the most rare receivers we've seen in the last 5 years. They don't come out every year. So right there, and to have a chemistry pre-built in with Joe Burrow, that's also significant. The second round pick was never going to start at tackle. They were always going to start at guard. They already have Quinton Spain at left guard. So really your right guard is the big problem. Same with center. Center's always a big problem for the teams. Left tackle, Jonah Williams. Right tackle, Riley Reid. So having Carmen allows you to have him at right guard. He's 340 pounds. You're not going to move him. Osai is a steal. Same thing as Sample. That defensive end rotation, they typically play a 4-3 alignment a lot of the time, but they like their guys to stay out there and be good run defenders first and second down. Osai, I love that pick. That's
I love
be
the double
really
defensive end.
Yeah, it's a great long-term pick. Sample, a lot of upside there. Tyler Shelvin, same thing. It's a replacement, or not a replacement, but it's a backup for the big guy they have there that got hurt last year, DJ Reader. And then the rest of their picks are just they're just developmental backup upside, other than Wyatt Hubert, who I really like in the 7th round. So it was an A- for me.
Yeah, I grew to like Cam Sample. I think that was a nice pick, especially in the 4th round. Deontay Smith, I like what they did, honestly. I'll argue Penei Sewell, but I don't think that drops if you're going to give a grade to them, I'm not dropping their grade for it. This was a solid draft. Plain and simple. I think they addressed what they needed, have some guys for now and the future. Next, we'll go Cleveland. And this one, I think...
It's an A+.
Yeah.
Come on.
Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, right there, I think you get an A.
Yep.
Then you go James Hudson, Tommy Togiai, Tony Fields, Richard LeCount, and Demetric Felton. This was great. I thought they did great. Newsome is one of my favorite corners. JOK and that late is ridiculous. There's no reason he should have gone that late.
No.
But,
so what are they doing with Felton? Because wasn't he a running back?
You can play him really anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker.
He just didn't test well. That was the only problem.
I wouldn't really say he would have tested spectacular. He looked great on tape. That's all that really matters. He's another playmaker for Baker that they already have a ton. they can use him as a slot guy. I mean, they drafted Anthony Schwartz as a speedster. They have a lot of weapons there. They have Hollywood Higgins, Odell, Jarvis, Peoples Jones, Harrison Bryant. Harrison.
OBJ.
Yeah, OBJ. It's I don't know how you stop Cleveland this year because there's so many weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, I think top to bottom, this might be like one of the best rosters in the NFL.
It might be the best roster in the NFL,
Oh yeah.
which is so weird, and it's insane.
Yeah, in the span of 3 years, like
They went 0-16 like 4 years ago,
yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Andrew
Yeah, it is
Berry,
an A.
and they've been through 2 different regimes since then.
whatever Andrew Berry is making, he needs a pay raise immediately.
Yes.
I'm probably gonna head out soon, so if you guys want to go over the Packers, we can out if need be.
All right, we'll
Um,
jump to Packers right now and get Mason's take before he has to head out. They went Eric Stokes, Josh Myers, Amari Rogers, Royce Newman, Tadaro Slayton, Shamar Jean Charles, Cole Van Lannon, Isaiah McDuffie, and Kylan Hill.
So, obviously, the whole Aaron Rodgers drama is coming during this too, which put a slight damper on things. But I love the Stokes pick. He's corner 2 for us right now. He was corner 3 for me in the whole entire draft. Great man and zone, really speedy. He's kind of grabby, which is not much of an issue in today's NFL. They don't call anything apparently, as seen in the Super Bowl and NFC title game until it mattered the most. But besides that. But Stokes is a great player. Maybe so. I know some teams wanted to sign Samuel Jr., which he went to another team that had a great draft that you guys will get to later. I love Stokes. I'm kind of just rambling on about him, but we really needed help in the secondary. We did get a lot of help. Round 2, Myers. Obviously, my reaction is out there. If you really want to go look at that, it was not the greatest because of what was on the board at the time. But I rated it as a B-, and I'll stick by that. It was not what I would have done because there was a lot of players on the board, but I had him as a mid-third round grade, and when you got him in the late second, so it's not that big of a reach. He'll probably start at center and have Jenkins at left tackle or left guard to start the season when Bakhtiari's out. I loved Amari Rogers. Might have given up too much to go and grab him in that trade up, but he's a playmaker. The most might be a controversial take, but the A. Rodgers that'll be on the team for the longest span of time now. But so after day 2 was kind of interesting to see what they did. Day 3 started off rough, in all honesty. Royce Newman, yeah, he can play a lot of spots, but I didn't like it, love it. I would have rather taken Brennan James or Stone Forsythe there. Shamar Jean Charles, he was the first player of my 62 on the board for day 3 that the Packers took. He will most likely line up as our nickel and have a competition with Chandon Sullivan there in the slot, which I love. He was a player that I wanted to do a scouting report on. I didn't have enough time to do so. There was not really actually much tape on him either because you had to go through full games to do that. So that was kind of rough for me to do. Jack was a big fan of my reaction to Van Lanen, so big woo. Well, we get Wisconsin.
And McDuffie.
McDuffie, that's
The
the
Duff man.
I love McDuffie. I have him as a mid-4th round grade. Getting him at the end of the 6th round is great. He might be the best linebacker on the team right now. So
Is that really saying a lot, though?
No, it isn't, but I love McDuffie. I saw that Goody said he wanted to get a linebacker quicker, which, I mean, fine. But Cam McGrone got taken right before us by Jack's Patriots. That was a bit disappointing. But to round out the draft, Kylan Hill is – I didn't even realize he was on the board. I did not realize Kylan Hill was still on the board. And so that is our 3rd running back, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And starting off at UDFA, we got Christian Uphoff, safety from Illinois State. I love that. We added 2 defensive tackles, which we need a lot of depth there. One is actually from Iowa as a Northern Illinois transfer, and my buddy JJ, who I've done an interview with from Northern Illinois, says that he played against him on scout team and he was an animal. So I'm excited for that. We also signed a receiver from San Jose State, a little bit ago that averaged 17.5 yards per catch and ran 4.45 at 6'1", 185. So, I mean, if I were to grade it, it would probably be like a B plus, somewhere around there, which I think is fair. I know PFF just gave it a C minus, which, whatever. PFF does not matter. But yeah, that's my general consensus on it. I don't know about you guys.
I feel like I feel
Go
like at the end of the first round, once Bateman got taken by Baltimore, you basically had your hands tied on a receiver. So there was the only reasonable receiver you could have taken was
More.
Yeah, Elijah Moore was pretty much the only reasonable guy you could have taken. So to basically turn a bad situation into Eric Stokes, I thought that was really good. I didn't necessarily love the Josh Myers pick. I loved your reaction. Your reaction was great. Amari Rogers, great pick. The Duff man, I think he's gonna be really good. And Kylan Hill, I think that's a good running back trio now. You got AJ Dillon, him, and then Jones. That's a fantastic trio.
Yeah, I think the Packers draft kind of speaks to their philosophy. They care about stopping the pass way more than they do about stopping the run, which is why, you got a linebacker in the 6th and a cornerback in the 1st. But if we're just talking Stokes, like that's a fast player, and I just love that he's a corner 2 and he's not a corner 1 in the league, because I think he can be a high end 2. I just don't think the CB1 potential is there. I just wouldn't trust him. But paired up with Jair, that's fantastic. I do like the Myers pick, and they might have reached a little bit. I think he was like 75 on my board, but I think he'll be good 2-3 years. And then Rogers, that's a steal. I love that in the 3rd, late 3rd too. So I think it was a good draft by the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with them. Mason, you're on mute, dude.
There you go.
But the San Diego State, just Dwayne Johnson Jr., the safety. There was Darren Hall. There was Drake Thompson. Dwayne Johnson Jr., the safety, is now in Atlanta again. So, yeah, The Rock, definitely. But Drake Thompson is the only.
Yes, The Rock.
Drake Thompson is the only one from San Diego State that does not go to their secondary coach's son at Atlanta. But you can continue with the Green Bay Packers talk now.
Yeah, no, I think they're fine. The Myers pick was fine. Like, it doesn't make me, stand up and clap and whatever, but I think it's fine. It addresses a need. Amari Rogers could become the best A-Rod in town in a month. I'm a big fan of Shamar Jean-Charles. I think that was a good pick. I like him in the late rounds. Could be a good player for you guys. So I'm happy with what Green Bay did. And then Mason, you about to jump off?
Yeah, I'll probably head out. My friend from high school is back in town, so probably spend some time with my dad here for a little bit and then head out. So draft weekend is over. I can finally go into my hibernation. Well, not yet. I have to do some grading articles, so it'll be a bit yet. But yeah.
Yeah, you gotta review like 5 articles.
What you want?
But draft season's never over, Mason. It's 2022 season now.
It's 2022 season now. We did 100. We failed. Mike told me I would get, if we got 200 articles this year, it would be a good sign. We got 193. So.
Next year.
Just 7 scouting reports in the span of 5 minutes just for you.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well,
Cameron,
great chatting with you guys. So I'll see you guys later.
This draft season, buddy. You kicked ass.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Even if Michael never admitted it, he did a really good job. I'll give him that. I mean, that was, he did a great job.
Oh, yeah, him and Charlie.
Oh yeah, him and Charlie were awesome.
Yeah, and Cameron, man, those three could knock out the 7 that was needed in like 20 minutes. They were knocking
Easily.
those out quick. We'll start heading back a little bit. We did Cleveland, we covered Dallas, so I'll go ahead and take my rant. But we'll get to Denver. Pat Surtain, Javonte Williams, Quinn Miners, Baron Browning, Caden Stearns, Jamar Johnson, Seth Williams, Kerry Vincent, Jonathan Cooper, and Marquise Spencer. I'll start on this one. Overall, I'm pretty happy with what they did. And honestly, I'd even say stoked at this point. Just kind of looking down. Surtain's the best defensive player in the draft, in my opinion. I thought that was a great pick. I understand like the frustration not getting Fields, but something that Peyton saw, Fangio saw that they didn't love about him, I will trust them. Straight up. It's like they know more than we do. And Surtain is a CB1. I think he can be a CB1 day one if they really wanted him to. And they don't need him to. You've got Fuller, you've got Darby, you've got Callahan already. I love what they did. Javonte Williams, to me, I started watching highlights after we went off the air yesterday. He's fun. He's powerful, he's fast, he's strong, smart, good hands out of the backfield, can block. And the dude just doesn't go down. His balance is impressive. So he's going to get some carries this year. He's got high upside. Then Melvin Gordon's contract expires after the season, so
Ooh,
he'll take in that running back one role next year.
not to butt in, but I really like this. The Eagles just got Jack Stoll.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard about him. He's pretty good. I like that pickup for him.
Yeah.
After that, Quinn Miners. Mason sold me on that one about 20 seconds. And then I started reading up on Miners. I'm fully bought into him. Seeing the picture of the gut, seeing everything about him, I've never been more bought in on what would be the ideal male form. He's awesome. He gives off that redneck vibe. He wants to kill you, so don't get in his way. I love everything about that. This guy is going to be a starter on this team. I am a big fan of the idea of putting Reisner at right tackle. I thought he was great there in college. So having Muti as your future right guard and Miner as your future left guard, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So this line's set with those guys. Baron Browning at 105 is a steal, though. I love that pick. I think he's got all the intangibles. We'll see where he ends up as far as being an inside backer or an edge. Fangio said he's going to start at inside, and they'll probably cross-train him in both. So the ideal thing is use him in both. Like, why are we trying to mess with, he has to stick to one? Use him in both, move him around, let him be dangerous in all these spots. I think that's what they'll ultimately do. And a guy with those kinds of intangibles, you shouldn't be taking off the field. So I love that pick. Day 3, Caden Stearns is fun. I like him, actually. I started to read a little bit about him because I didn't know a ton. I like him. Jamar Johnson, I think, is actually a better pick. I think he can fill that Will Parks role that we've had for him, which is he can play safety, but he's a good player in the run game. He can play in the nickel, play some center field. I like the Jamar Johnson pick a lot. Seth Williams, I think, is a steal. Should have been picked in the 4th round. I think he's got a lot of upside just from Auburn, and I have no problem with it. I looked up Vincent. He's fast, man. I like this pick in the 7th round. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, Denver's got a lot of corners right now, so we'll see. But they also used 10 cornerbacks last year and ended the year with 3 on the active roster just because of injuries. So, and the problem was all of them happened so late, right? So Sang Bassi is the guy who's their main nickel guy. He got hurt in like week 12 with an ACL, so he's not going to be back for week 1. So you needed this depth. I like the Vincent pick. I think he fits what they want to do. Cooper's a guy that I kind of sold myself on a little bit here in the last week or so. I wasn't a big fan, but I like him off the edge. Denver needs some edge guys that can play with their hand in the ground, that can play standing up. I like what Cooper can do. And just some depth pieces out of rotation. And then Marquise Spencer, I'm not going to lie, I don't know anything about Marquise Spencer, but he's a 3-4 defensive end prospect. That fits the scheme. So I'm willing to give him a shot. Who knows what's actually going to happen with it? What say y'all?
You first, Jack.
Getting Surtain after it's not that Horn to Carolina was bad, but to have maybe the best defensive player in the entire draft just fall to you just by sheer coincidence is incredible. Incredible. And I don't necessarily want to compare the current Broncos secondary to the no-fly zone of 2015, but it's starting to kind of look like it.
Man,
You got Surtain, you got Kyle Fuller, Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby. You got some dogs in the secondary in Denver again.
This secondary is going to be top 1 in the league for the next 5 years. And I can say that.
I'm going to say 5,
certainly.
at least 3. Definitely 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
5 maybe a little bit of a stretch, but 3 for sure. I'm not a huge fan of trading up for a running back, but Javonte Williams is a monster, so I think you can kind of live with that.
The thing is, I don't think he's going to be available because I think Williams is going 36 if Denver didn't trade up.
You know what? That's a fair
point. That was their guy, and they straight up said every person in the room loved him. That was a unanimous, I want him, go get him, and they got their guy. So I'm not mad about it, even if it is against traditional thought and logic. If they love him and they wanted him, they got him.
That was just 5 consecutive just really good picks. Miners, I'm pretty sure we're all big Quinn Miners guys.
Oh, yeah.
Via Mason. Baron Browning, great pickup for where they got him at. Stearns and Johnson, love both those pickups. And Seth Williams in the 6th, especially how late in the 6th you guys got him. That's an awesome pickup. And it's really all going to be on Drew Lock this year. Because if he can't make this work in Denver, I don't know anywhere else in the league where he can make it work.
This is a career or bust year for Drew Lock.
And all I'm saying is there's a perfectly good disgruntled quarterback in the Midwest of the country up north that could be traded for. That's all I'm saying.
Wonder who that is.
And I wonder if that played a factor into not decision or trading for Fields. Like I wonder if they
totally did.
And so I mean the Surtain pick was good regardless. Everything has been said that I would have said. I actually just think Baron Browning is going to be a Pro Bowl linebacker by year 2 in Vic Fangio's system. He's literally got
more of an inside guy or an edge.
He's an inside guy. Yeah, I don't want him. I just think Vic has a way of using these linebackers to the most effective use. So that's all. But I like this draft again. For the second consecutive year, they have doubled up where it hasn't been like 2 corners, 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, and I think 2 guards. No, one center. But yeah, again, doubling up is the Broncos' calling card, and it's worked out for them so far. So B+.
Yeah, I'm probably going to sit around an A- if I'm being honest, but I get it, and I think this was a slam dunk, at least for our first year. The only reason it's not getting an A+ is because Tariq Thompson's not on my football team right now, and I think that's definitely what watered down my celebrations during these picks. I was like, that ain't Tariq, though. But overall, I'm thrilled with what they did. And I think if Drew Lock takes the step, this team's dangerous because they have a top 3 roster in football, I think. Or at least around there. It could be top 5. But all around, that team's deep, and they're going to be good.
Like at the absolute worst, you're like the 10th best team in football. Like at the absolute worst.
Yeah, this team's too good. Unless there's injury, man.
Yeah, like there's talent everywhere. And they've absolutely killed in the draft these last 3 years.
I see you keep unmuting yourself, Alex. You're up.
Oh yeah, just kind of going off of what you guys said. I just love it. I love what they did. The Miners pick is outstanding where they got him. I thought he was going probably mid-second or somewhere around there. Browning, another one I love. That's really solid value there where they got him. Johnson, that's like Zach said, that's the best one that they out of Stearns and Johnson. I like Johnson more. That was definitely their best one there for the 5th round. Seth Williams, that's another. I love where they got him. Another weapon for Drew Lock for him to try to, prove himself that he can actually be a quarterback in the NFL. Like you guys mentioned, just this year is it make or break time for him.
The Williams pick to me says that Deshaun Hamilton will not be a Bronco much longer, which I'm okay with. The dude, he's a great run blocker. Let me tell you, he is a monster in the run blocking game. But Deshaun Hamilton can't catch.
You have Latin in the block.
I could attest to that because I was a Penn State fan. He didn't catch anything.
Yeah, and then Jack, you saw it. He beat Stephon Gilmore down the sideline and had one inside the 5 and just dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Just killer drops at the worst times.
That game was infuriating.
I can't believe we beat you, scoring no touchdowns after we dropped 4.
I don't know what was worse. That somehow coming back against the Jets when we probably should have been in tank mode, or doing the exact same thing like 3 weeks later against the Cardinals. Where we somehow decided to just come back against them at the very end.
Why not? They're football players.
Of course, but at the end of the day, who knows? If there were another 4 spots up in the draft, who knows what they would have done at that point.
Fields.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan Pace.
We'll go to the next one that I really love, the Detroit Lions. I love what they did. I didn't even see this pick. Penei Sewell, Levi Onwuzurike, Alim McNeil, Ifeatu Melifonwu, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derek Barnes, and one of my other draft crushes. I didn't even see this one. Jamar Jefferson as their last pick. I love it.
A+.
It was
A+.
awesome. Their celebrations are awesome too. They get an A++ for the celebrations.
Facts. I'm with that.
Yeah, I think this team is so bad, again, that they're going to be in contention for the number 1 overall pick next year. And, yeah, I love this.
Penei Sewell at 7, man. That's a great pick.
Melifonwu in the 3rd is insane.
Insane.
How about Jamar Jefferson in the 7th?
Yeah.
Dude, I was picking him in the 5th round every single time I was doing a mock.
St. Brown in the 4th.
Yeah. Oh my.
They straight up went best player available, and they just got insane value just about every time.
And it just kept working.
Yeah. Penei Sewell is you'd say 2nd or 3rd best player in the entire draft?
I would say 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's between him and Pitts, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Onwuzurike and Melifonwu and Amon-Ra St. Brown are just insane value.
Yeah.
Well, McNeil there too. If you're going to have a good nose tackle, you make the big difference on playing a lighter box too, right? A good nose tackle is starting to have more value. Look at Via Vitae, the Bucks. They don't have to stack the box as much. They can play a nickel, and they can play more defensive back, stop the run, more effective. So I love this draft. And again, I don't think any of these picks are, they're not going to move the needle enough to take them out of the number 1 contention, because I think that's the state of this roster. There's no weapons.
The current Detroit Lions roster pre-draft is just a disaster. Yeah, absolute disaster. And I think Jared Goff makes them even a little worse. So,
yeah. Stafford definitely made some of their positions better. He elevated their wide receivers probably a little bit, but I think he also. I think the offensive line might find Goff holding the ball a little longer this year, and so they might not look as great. So that the Sewell pick is going to be. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Their goal this year is not necessarily win games. They should be worrying about building their culture. They haven't had a legit full-on culture for so long. Let's keep rotating these coaches. And even Jim Caldwell, they didn't really feel like they had like a legit culture for whatever reason. I mean, he was a good head coach, but I just felt like they didn't really have like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like an identity. It felt like it was just, we're just going to throw out the Calvin Johnson like 20 times a game. We'll see what happens.
I mean, it worked, so.
Oh, it totally did.
That's right.
But that should be their goal this year. It's like, if you end up going like 2-14, like, great, you're going to get more talent, and you're probably keeping the same regime again next year. So hopefully it gets better next year.
Want to move on? We're ready to move on? All right. We covered Green Bay, so let's go to Houston. They started with Davis Mills in the third round, then Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, Garrett Wallow, and Roy Lopez. I thought it was fine. I liked Mills. He's definitely a project. So even if they do trade Deshaun Watson this year, it's definitely not for Davis Mills to start. I liked the Wallow pick a lot. Later on, I thought that was good value. Brevin Jordan's another really good value pick. And then, I mean, I don't know a ton about Nico Collins or Roy Lopez, but I think they were pretty good players.
Yeah, honestly, they did as good of a job as you possibly could with coach/GM that literally destroyed your roster for the next 2-3 years. So I mean, Davis Mills is going to play. He might, he'll be. Who knows? I like to swing at it though. He's only had 11 games where he started, so we don't know what he is. So I mean, that's nice. I love the Nico Collins pick, and I said it before. I think that's a dynasty sleeper, where might not be great this year, but guess what? There's nobody else to take targets away from him. Brandon Cooks, that's a speed guy. You got nobody big other than the tight ends. So Nico Collins is a great pick.
I thought they were Brevin Jordan. Yeah, Brevin Jordan.
Yeah. I was just getting to that. Brevin Jordan. The thing about Jordan though is that he's not playing at 250. So that in itself is a problem. If you have him on the field, he's more of a wide receiver then. So they're just going to have big corners cover him and not linebackers. It's the Evan Ingram paradox. They know Evan Ingram isn't going to block. He's awful at blocking. They just throw him on drags and screens and all those kinds of things. So it doesn't have the same effect as a real tight end. So I just wonder what Jordan will be at the next level. He's still young though. I think he's only 21. So there's lots of development left. So in the 5th round, I like that. But it's a C+ for me because the Texans are just they're in a state of disaster right now. So.
I mean, with everything going on, I would give them a B-, all things considered. Like, with everything that's happened to that team over the last, let's call it 18 months-ish, probably more. That's all led to, like, the last 3 months. They did a pretty good job, I thought. Like, Mills, he's not going to start right away. We have Tyrod Taylor. He's probably going to be your week 1 starter. And Mills is a project, like you said. So he has really no immediate expectations. Nico Collins, I think, is going to end up being really good for them. Jordan, really good for them down the line. I don't know too much about Lopez or Wallow, but, I mean, never a bad idea to load up inside the trenches and right behind the trenches on defense. So
what's the record next year? Where are the Texans in terms of 1, record, but 2, where is their roster at? Is it a bottom 5 roster?
I'll run on the assumption Deshaun Watson is not a Texan or is not going to play at least. He'll be on the exempt list, etc. I think they're I think they can be a bottom 5 roster. Like, I don't love their roster at all. Losing J.J. Watt, losing Deshaun Watson. You already had a year without DeAndre Hopkins. This team is bad. Like, they're not a good football team. There's some upside players. I mean, this draft was not bad, honestly. They have some upside guys, just not for this year. So I think this roster is just bad. This draft was not bad. Alex, what's your take?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, for what the state they're in, like Brady said, it's not terrible. My favorite pick is definitely Jordan. I love the where they got him. The 5th round. And Collins is a good one too, like we talked about.
He was one of those guys that felt like he was at his school like forever. Like he's like
Yeah.
the J.T. Barrett of Michigan.
This team's bad. I think they win 3-4 games tops.
4 games max, probably. I would say.
No, this is a one-win team.
Actually,
They're not beating anybody unless it's like a fluke. Nobody in our division is easy anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm briefly looking up their schedule here real quick just to get an idea.
They
Ooh.
yeah, it's not easy.
No.
We play
Yeah.
the AFC North, and then the East.
Yeah, that is a rough schedule.
Yeah, I think we're in the top half of difficult schedules this year. So
Yeah, so looking at this, I might say 2 wins.
Yeah.
But they might put it together in practice 1 week. They'll catch a team like napping, win a game.
yeah,
and
that's exactly. Yeah.
they'll probably win like a late season game where the other team has nothing to play for.
Yeah, second string guys in.
Exactly.
That team's bad. They're a dumpster fire. Hopefully they can get it back together, but I
No,
wouldn't place bets on it
Mhm.
Nah, it's awful.
anytime
No.
soon.
keep them
They're
bad.
director-
Ryan messed that one up bad.
Their director of football ops was a character coach in the New England
Easterby,
Patriots.
dude. Oh my God, Easterby's
Finesse god.
on the whole thing.
The finesse god. He was a character coach in a team Champlain on the Patriots. Now he's the director of football operations on the
I don't even
Houston.
know how you get there. He has no right
How does that
to be
happen?
there at all.
So many things had to go wrong for that to happen, and every single thing that had to happen on the way happened. I've never in my life seen anything like it.
Easterby's awful. Bill O'Brien messed him up. The Texans aren't going to be good for a while.
Nope.
All right, we'll jump next to the Colts. In division team, they got Kwity Paye, Deo Odeyingbo, Kylan Granson, Sean Davis, Sam Ellinger, Mike Strachan, and Will Freeze. Will Freeze, Fries. Still a fun name regardless. What are we thinking about the Colts? I'll start with you, Brady, the divisional rival team.
I love the Kwity Paye pick. I'm not a outside of that. I actually really wasn't a big fan of it. I was just looking at the comment, but yeah, they have. I think it's a boom bust kind of draft, which is typically pretty odd because they draft a lot of consistent players with the Colts. The second round guy, like I don't know quite a bit about. I just know he's that Justin Houston mold, but he was injured this year. So I mean, you're banking on Kwity Paye being good. Well, you don't even need to bank on him being good. They have a lot of depth at their edge. So, like overall, this wasn't their best draft, I would say. But yeah, I give them a C. Also, because I don't like them.
You have to respect that. That's an honest grade right there. I respect that. As far as I know, their second round pick, Odeyingbo, he's going to be basically having a redshirt rookie year, right?
Yes. He tore his Achilles before the Senior Bowl.
Okay, so I don't necessarily hate that move in the second round because the Cowboys basically did the same thing with Jalen Smith in 2015. So I don't necessarily hate that. Kwity Paye was a slam dunk pick. Outside of that, though, I did not like their draft. Outside of those first 2 picks. I really don't understand why they drafted Sam Ellinger, like at all. And I would say C minus, maybe even a D plus for the Colts. This felt like a very uncharacteristic Chris Ballard draft.
You know what? If Kwity Paye hits, then they're gonna get the benefit of the doubt of like a B. But the rest of this draft is like, again, it's really weird. Typically, they move back and they accumulate more picks in second and third, and then just grab all these dynamic players. But I don't know. I didn't like this draft at all for them, and I'm happy for it because I think they still have a big hole at left tackle, unless they're moving Nilsson to left tackle. But again, I don't know. Didn't like it.
If you do that, you get worse at 2 spots. So I don't know what their plan is. Yeah, maybe they had a guy in mind and he just got taken before they were up. But I mean, they can only go with one offensive tackle and have it come in the second or the seventh, rather. Excuse me. That's not great. This does not feel like a Chris Ballard draft at all. After just a couple of years of just outright phenomenal drafts over the last 2 or 3 years.
And on the Sam Ehlinger pick too, like if Wentz gets injured, they have like really no one that I really trust. Like they have Jacob Eason, who was not that great of a pick last year either, and Ehlinger. So it's like you don't have a great backup, in my opinion.
Yeah, this was not a good draft.
No.
I don't think it was. I don't think they got like objectively worse, but I don't think they got a whole lot better. Like Paye, I think will be fine. Odeyingbo, I like the upside on him. I'll be honest, but he's going to miss the year, so you're missing that impact from the second round pick. Next up is the Jacksonville. We did Jacksonville. Kansas City Chiefs. So they had Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Joshua Kando, Noah Gray, Cornell Powell, and Trey Smith. I hate to say it, but I like it.
Trey Smith was a steal in the set.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Him and Humphrey were my favorite 2 picks for this, for sure.
Yeah. I'm with Mason. I'm not a big Nick Bolton guy. So I'm not going to give a ton of credit for that pick, but I don't mind the value there. Humphrey's a good pick. Kando, I think, is all right. Gray is good. I like Gray. Powell's nice. Smith's a steal. Overall, I mean, B minus, C plus. I think this isn't a super exciting draft, but I think they did well.
Yeah.
So what I'm pretty sure happened was that Clark Hunt got the entire brass locked into a room. He replayed the entire Super Bowl. The second the clock said triple zeros, he said this is never happening again. And that's why I'm pretty sure they drafted 3 offensive linemen, even after trading for Orlando Brown and signing Joe Thuney. No, they got 2, but you get the idea. And I like both the picks. Creed Humphrey I feel like he was at Oklahoma forever. He was working with Baker Mayfield, I'm pretty sure his first year there. Kyler Murray. So I like that pick a lot. And then Trey Smith in the 6th. I mean, I know I know he had blood clots, and that's obviously a huge deal. That's no joke.
Yeah.
No joke whatsoever. But the talent was there. Like he objectively was like a 2nd or 3rd round talent, give or take. So that was a good pick. And if they can get the blood clots figured out, that's a turn into a really good pick down the line.
Yeah.
So I would say B, nothing sexy here per se, but it was a good draft. I
agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
B for me as well. I think the Cornell Powell is best pick there. You got a nice route runner who can go in the slot. I think they're going to try and make him the Sammy Watkins replacement.
I can see that.
Yeah, Nick Bolton, good pick, I think. I like Bolton. I think he's got some range. I think he's a good fit in their defense. Creed Humphrey can play center, but he can also play guard. So I know they signed, I think it's Austin Bliss. So bringing competition in the second round, that's nice. This is a good draft. So yeah, that's all.
We'll stick in the division with the Chargers next. The Chargers. Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel, Josh Palmer, Trey McKitty, Chris Rumpf, Brendan James, Nick Neiman, Larry Roundtree, and Mark Webb. I like a lot of these picks, to be honest. Rashawn Slater for me, I think people are lower on him, but I like him a lot. I think he's just got good versatility and he's a good player all around. Samuel's pesky. I like him as a corner. He's a good pick. Nice in the second round. Palmer's solid. McKitty's actually pretty good. I think that's decent value too. And then Brendan James pisses me off because I wanted him in Denver bad. I think that would have been the best Mike Munchak project ever. Straight up. The dude's a ball of clay that you can just mold into whatever you wanted. He can play guard and tackle. That's a great value pick for them.
Jack?
No, you can go first. Or did you already go? Kind of blanked.
No. I'll start. Slater was, I think, number 9 on my board, maybe 8. Samuels was number 17 and was the ultimate fit for this system. Palmer was my guy, who I had, I think, in the 70s. His comparison for me is Michael Crabtree. So, big contested catch guy, just on the surface. But there's a lot of nuances, a lot of quickness in his game for being so big. So I really like it because I think it's a replacement for Mike Williams, to be honest with you. I think Williams has not shown the ability to stay healthy year to year. And that's something that the Chargers have historically not been good with, is health. So I think they're looking to draft guys who are going to be healthy. From what I remember, Palmer has never missed a game with injury. And he played, I think, for 3 years. He was a senior, I think. But first 3 picks, man, doesn't get any better than that. Like 1, 2, 3, it's A+ for me. The other picks, who did they have? Nobody of note, really. Chris Rumph, that was the other guy, and McKitty. I think McKitty's a really good tight end to take a shot at. I know that they got Cook, so I think taking a shot at McKitty, letting him learn from a veteran, good process. Rumph, you gotta have depth. I like that. A+ for me. I think this is probably a top 3 draft. Yeah, they got better by a lot.
I hate to admit it, but I agree.
I would say A+. I definitely would say A, though. Probably A- though, on my end. Getting Slater 13 was big. I mean, some teams in that early mid-teens weren't necessarily tackle needy, so that basically allowed them to go and get him. Obviously, when they did, Samuel might be one of, if not, I would say actually probably the second or third best man-to-man cover corner in the draft. So, I mean, that's never a bad idea to have. Palmer, I actually do agree with Bray's point. I think he definitely could be a Mike Williams replacement. And then I agree with them again on Trey McKitty. I like the idea of putting him behind Jared Cook. Just give him maybe, I don't know, a year or 2 years just to learn from him, because he's been around forever. It doesn't really feel like it, but he's been around for quite a bit, like at least 10 years, right?
Yeah, he's been around for a while. I don't know how long exactly.
And then not too familiar with Mark Webb, not too familiar with Roundtree. But outside of that, this was a very, very solid draft. So I'll go A- for the Chargers and Tom Telesco.
What are you thinking, Alex?
I like the draft. Yeah. You guys pretty much covered it all, but Slater is really good there, 13. He was probably top 10 for me as well. Samuel was one that I thought was going to go maybe late first or earlier in the second than he did. So I really like that pick. Palmer, like you guys talked about, that's a solid one there. McKitty, I like McKitty as well. That's a great pick there to sit behind a veteran, like you guys said. And the Rumph, Chris Rumph pick also, that's really good. Getting their defense worked up. So, I don't really know much about the other guys, Roundtree and Webb, Neiman. But overall solid draft. I'd probably give it I would say A. It was solid. So
yeah, We'll move to the Rams now. They had Tutu Atwell, Ernest Jones, Bobby Brown, Robert Rochelle, Jacob Harris, Ernest Brown, Jake Funk, Ben Skowronek, and Chris Garrett. Alex, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think of the Rams?
I don't know. I like the Rochelle pick. That's definitely a good value. But I'm not sure. I don't know about Atwell in that where they went with him. That in the second round, he was more of a fifth round guy for me. So I don't like that. Bobby Brown's a good pick. Ernest Jones, it's solid. Jacob Harris, he wasn't a terrible pick either. I think he can definitely open some things up for the passing game. And Matt Stafford, of course. So after that, really, I don't really know much. Jake Funk, Skowronek, and Garrett. I'm not really sure about those guys. I'm not really familiar, but it's not really. I think I would probably give it like maybe a C or C minus. It's not. I don't think it's really the best overall at all. So the Rochelle is a good pick. I would probably give that one an A, but other than that, it's not really that great.
Yeah, I would say Rochelle was definitely their best pick in this draft. Atwell was a huge reach, especially with guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown on the board. I thought that would have been a great pickup for the Rams, but they decided to go with Atwell. Bobby Brown, another solid pick. Try to plug him in, maybe get him next to Aaron Donald on the interior. Jacob Harris, I like that pick a ton, actually. Mainly just for the last name, Jake Funk. That's probably my second favorite pick they made. The Funk Master out of Maryland. But really, outside of that, not a whole lot of guys that I'm too familiar with. But I will say this. The fact that they got two guys named Ernest but spelled differently is preposterous. I don't think I've ever seen that before from any team in any sport. In that sense, I know the Jets obviously got two guys with the exact same name, but Ernest is just out there. You don't really see that name a lot. So that was really weird to me. So I would say overall for the Rams, in a draft where they probably could have done a little bit better than this, I would go C for the Rams.
They have Jacob Harris listed as a tight end, who's 6'5", 220. And I just question the process behind that. He showed a shitload of effort when he was blocking. He's a lot of hustle. But the Harris pick in the fourth was an A minus for me. It was easily their best pick because there's so much upside. There's just so much talent waiting to be tapped into. He's only been playing football since his senior year of high school. So he's still new to the position. And from what I remember, he played soccer, I think, his first year of college. So we're talking about a guy who's been playing for maybe 5 years and, be drafted in the fourth round, be 6'5", 220, but run a 4.4 and then have insane measurables, just elite relative athletic scoring. I think that saved their draft. But this is a typical Rams draft where they grab these boom bust guys and they pan out, great. If they don't, it doesn't really matter because they're going to throw their first round pick next year for somebody decent, somebody good again. So, they already did. Did they give their next year's first for?
I believe so.
Stafford,
I can double check on the Stafford trade, but I'm pretty sure they did.
So, the process has shown to be effective. They were in the playoffs last year. So, and I love the Bobby Brown pick too. So, just based off of those two picks, I'm going to give it a B minus, but yeah, I like it. I don't like Tutu Atwell. I think that's an F, but that
was a reach. 100%. Yeah.
I think it was a fine draft. I'd give it like a C plus, B minus. Rochelle's good. Bobby Brown's good, but Atwell drops that grade a ton. Next, we'll go to the Raiders.
Actually, just real quick, I just checked. They don't have a first-round pick until 2024, the Rams.
Ooh,
That's
yikes.
that's very much on brand. But we'll say that. The Raiders will go Leatherwood, Merrick, Malcolm Kuntz, Divine Diablo, Tyree Gillespie, Nate Hobbs, and Jim Morrissey. I'll start on this one. I think the Raiders had a good draft. Well, we said it during the show today. If you flip Merrick and Leatherwood, this was a phenomenal draft. I think where people get caught up is the fact that Leatherwood got picked at 17. So if you flip those two, this is a really nice draft. I think they got better. Merrick's the best safety in this class. Leatherwood's a solid tackle. I'm not a big Kuntz guy, but I can see it. Diablo's fun, and they're going to play him at linebacker, which I like. Gillespie's good. Overall, I think they did pretty good.
Yeah, I think outside the first two picks, I don't like it at all, to be honest with you. I get you have Leatherwood as a starting right tackle. That's good. You have Moreg. That's even better. Supposedly, they were looking to trade back, but they didn't get the value that they wanted. But outside of that, I don't like. I don't think the Raiders defense has a plan for any of these defensive guys. So I'm actually a little bit nervous about where they're going to play Moreg. I think they are the likely team to misuse him, to have him as a single high when he doesn't have the range to do that. So I hope it's a 3 deep or split role safety. But yeah, Leatherwood may end up being the only pick I like out of this draft class, and that's typically not a good sign. So C.
I completely agree with Zach's point about the Leatherwood and Merrick swap. But at the same time, taking 3 safeties with your first 5 picks, not the greatest move, I would say.
I think if you have a plan, though, you can make it work.
Yeah,
So
but I don't know if
Diablo as a linebacker, if that's their plan and they can execute it, it makes it a little bit better.
But they haven't had a plan for like 4 years now since the Gruden regime came in.
Yeah.
So
the Raiders are not a good team, but face value of these picks alone, just as players, I don't mind them.
And I'll say this about Leatherwood. I think we were all kind of talking about Gruden possibly going rogue and this being one of his picks. I believe Mike Mayock came out earlier, either late last night or this morning, and said, this is the guy we wanted, and I kind of knew that the reaction wasn't going to be all that positive, and I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So they clearly thought highly of Leatherwood one way or another. But Merrick was a phenomenal pickup, I thought. I like Gillespie. I don't know how they're going to use him, but I like the Gillespie pick. But outside of that, yeah, I'll say B minus C plus. Take your pick.
Yeah, I think it was okay. Merrick is the only one that kind of bounces out at you. The other ones I don't really like it. I mean, Leatherwood is going to be solid, and I like that Zach said, if you flip the two, then you look at it differently. So I do like that. But outside of that, I'm not really sold on it. That like we talked about, they don't have a plan. They never do. So I don't like it. It's probably a C or C plus for me. And if Leatherwood and Merrick work out, then it'll obviously go up. But right now, I don't like it.
I just got sent this from Mason. Rico Busey Jr., a Hawaii wide receiver, has just signed with the Steelers.
I like it.
Not too familiar with him, so I'll kind of defer to you guys on this one.
I don't know anything about him, but I like receivers from Hawaii. I like the Rainbow Warrior name, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until he's terrible.
I will never question the Steelers on wide receivers ever again, so.
That's fair. Next up is the Dolphins. They went Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland. Yeah, the 3 J's. Whew. Liam Eichenberg, Hunter Long, Larnell Coleman, and Garrett Dokes. I thought it was fine. I think Waddle he's clearly one of those top 3 receivers. You can flip him and Smith. Jalen Phillips, I think, was the best edge rusher in this draft.
But we're all in this.
Holland, I think, was a bit of a reach, but I like him as a player. Eichenberg's solid. Long's fine. I think this was by and large it was a fine draft.
This was much better than their draft last year. I did not like their first round last year at all outside of Tua, to be quite frank. They definitely made up for it this year, I thought. Again, Waddle and Smith, you can flip-flop. It just depends on what you're looking for. And Waddle has insane speed. Like, he's not Tyreek Hill, but he has really, really good speed. He can turn on the jets. Jalen Phillips, I wouldn't say he's the best edge rusher in this class, but he's definitely top 3. So I thought that was a really good pick, especially when you just lost Kyle Van Noy, or decided to part ways, rather. Holland, I agree with you there, Zach, that I don't think he was necessarily the right pick here, but he's a good player for sure, and he's versatile as far as I know. Eichenberg, great tackle. That was a really good pickup for them. I got to see a ton of Hunter Long at BC. I love that pickup for them. He was a absolute monster in third down situations from what I remember seeing him at BC. So that was a great pick. A Massachusetts kid from ZooMass, Larnell Coleman. I like that pickup. More of a project as far as I know. He's 6'6", 315. But again, guys of that size don't just grow on trees. And then Jared Dokes, not too familiar, but running back, as far as I know, was somewhat of a need for the Dolphins. So overall, this was a pretty solid draft for the Dolphins. I'll go B+, maybe even A-, depending on how Waddle turns out.
Yeah, I can dig it. I like it. Waddle's a great pick there at 6. I thought they could have maybe went with tackle, but they addressed that with Eichenberg, which I really like that pick. That's a great pick up for them. Phillips is outstanding. I don't think he was the best edge rusher in the draft, like Jack said, but he's still a great pick there. Great pickup. Hunter Long is another one I really like, especially third round, middle of the third round. It's a great weapon. So overall, I think it's solid. So B+, probably B+.
Yeah, agreed. Everything you just said.
All right. This one, I'm fascinated to hear what y'all think. The Vikings. Rick Spielman, of course, has 3,200 picks. They went Christian Darrisaw, Kellen Mond, Chaz Surratt, Wyatt Davis, Patrick Jones, Kenai Nwangwu, Cameron Bynum, Janarius Robin, Amir Smith-Marset, Zach Davidson, and Jalen Twyman.
Yeah, no, you first.
I think they hit it out of the park. Again, this is what they do. Darrisaw at 23 is a good one. Mond's interesting. I like Kellen Mond personally. I know that's kind of iffy, but I like him. And him and Cousins is an interesting little dynamic that I'd watch for. Surratt is an underrated guy. I feel like I like him. And Nwangwu's good. I don't know. I like Jones. Davis is all right. I don't know a ton about them. And Nwangwu's solid. Bynum is one of my favorite guys. Might have been picked a little early, but I like him. Don't know much about Robinson. Smith-Marset's a good pick there. Then Twyman also at where they got him in the 6th round. I like it. Overall, this is a good draft. And it made Mason mad, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I actually think this is one of the A drafts for me. So 3 reasons. One, you get 2 starters in the 3rd while trading back in the 1st round to pick up a starting left tackle. One of those 3rd round picks becomes Wyatt Davis, who's now your starting left guard. So then you have 5 somewhat competent starters on your O-line for the first time in a decade. And then you improve the defense finally. Again, like they've been starting to lose pieces. So like top to bottom, the roster is looking better, which is about like a month ago. I was really, really interested to see where they would land because Kirk Cousins is not moving the needle. He's not elevating any of your players. He's the guy that kind of gets elevated by the receivers. So if your supporting cast and your defense is better, he's going to play better. So like floor, I think this is an 8-9 team. Ceiling, I think this is a wild card playoff team. But they have to stay healthy because they have no depth in the important positions again. So remains to be seen. A minus.
It felt like after day 2, this was probably going to be the best draft in the entire league. I wouldn't say it's the best now, just looking how it ended up, especially in the middle. But I did like the Twyman pick at the very end. That was an awesome pickup. Trading down and then still getting Darisaw was criminal, especially if you look at what the Jets ended up doing and taking Vera Tucker at, what was it, 13?
You don't think they had a good day 3? I actually think they had the best day 3. You get the
I thought they had a
returner
good
and
day, don't get me wrong, but
well, I mean, Emir Smith, Marset, and Janoris Robinson, and then Keeney and Nwanga. Like that's.
I love
those are two
Twyman.
guys
I
who
thought
could be
Smith
starters.
was good, and then Robinson I thought was pretty solid too.
Yeah.
So honestly, I would say the best draft. I would say it's either any of Detroit, still Minnesota. I think Minnesota still has an argument. Carolina, I think, has an argument. And I don't want to sound too much like a homer. The Pats had a really good one. Maybe not the best. And the Jags. I thought the Jags still had a really good one.
Cleveland too.
Yeah.
Cleveland, of course, Cleveland. But back to the Vikings. To get Darisaw, how they got him was beyond criminal. Mond's a great pickup where they got him. Again, don't have to start him day 1. He can learn the system and then possibly start next year, depending on how things go with Kirk Cousins. Chaz Surratt, that's a very interesting pickup, especially with their linebackers that they have with Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr. And just to throw this out there, he was a quarterback at one point, so that does open up some trick play possibilities down the road if the opportunity presents itself. And then Wyatt Davis, that was another slam dunk pick. Yeah. So I would say A, not A+, but an A for the Vikings.
Yeah, no. The Vikings have a good day. Rick Spielman does Rick Spielman things, and I think he does well. All right, I know, Brady, you got to leave in a few minutes, so I want to jump to the Titans real quick just so you can close out the division and just get your opinion on all the teams that you hate. Caleb Farley, Dylan Radins, Monty Rice, Elijah Molden, Des Fitzpatrick, Rashad Weaver, Racy McMath, and Brady Breeze.
So this is clinical Titans draft where you take a bunch of injured players that will probably not play their first year and then or halfway through the season, and then they end up being superstars. Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry. They addressed everything except for wide receiver. So it's you have to ask what's going to be the most impactful pick out of all of these. For me, Caleb Farley at 22 it was really early. You don't play for a full year and a half and you're getting back surgery because of sports workouts. You know, you're going to be going through 3 months of training camp and now 17 games and then playoffs because the Titans will probably be in the playoffs again. Probably not this year with Lawrence. But anyways, so that Farley is either an A+ or it's an F. And there's really no in between for me for that. So I netted out as a B. So it's a B to start. Radon, that's a great pick. I hate it. It's good. Right tackle. He can start day 1. He showed in the Senior Bowl. He can take on anybody, even with the level of competition. So I think that's an A+. Monty Rice was a good pick. They need depth at linebacker, so I'm mad about that. Elijah Molden can play anywhere on that secondary. And again, I'm mad. And actually, I think Elijah Molden probably their best pick of the whole draft. a fourth round or late third, it's like you could have a safety, a good safety, a nickel, or you can have a corner. So, and they cut Adoree Jackson. So I think this is good, but I also think that they're still missing a second wide receiver, and they're really going to hurt in that way. So it's a B minus.
I agree with that almost the entire way around. I actually thought Radins was their best pick and then Molden, but you could flip those two, and it's probably about the same, honestly. I thought those were both great picks. I feel like they wouldn't have taken Fairley at 22 if they didn't feel at least somewhat good about the medicals. Granted, I know the process of getting them this year has been a little difficult with the pandemic and all, but I mean, there's no denying the talent with Fairley. Obviously, the help is
the talent is top 3 corner in the league. Like the potential is there.
Oh, of course.
Like he's one of the top athletes in this draft alone, and then he hasn't been playing that long, and he dominated at an early age. It's like, oh, that like again, it's either an A+ or it's an F, and you know. Oof.
And another thing too, I feel like they wouldn't have made this pick if they didn't feel confident, on top of the fact of what happened last year with Isaiah Wilson. So they must feel good about Fairley in some capacity, whether it be with the medicals or just the level of play that he showed at Virginia Tech. I'm not worried about the level of play with Radins at this point. Obviously, Carson Wentz, I think, is a great quarterback. I think Trey Lance is going to be a phenomenal quarterback. And then literally last year, you saw, and even this year, a D3 interior lineman go in the third round. And then last year, there was a D2 safety to go in the second. So I'm not really worried about like level of play anymore. Like, you can find talent.
Yeah. North Dakota State has earned it.
With these HBCUs getting a lot of exposure, I think you're going to see a lot of those kids end up in the draft because they're just getting that exposure now. Like, there's talent everywhere. You just got to find it. But I love Fairley. I love Radins or Raduns. Love Bolden was either their first or second best pick. Rashad Weaver was pretty solid. And I like Racy McMath just for the name. So I would say B, ultimately, though. Because a lot of it does depend on Fairley.
You got anything to add, Alex?
Not really. I agree with everything they said. I would definitely say Molden and Reduns are my top 2 picks for them. And I like the Weaver pick, too. That's a pretty solid value where they got him. So, also, Brady Breeze is a pretty good name.
Agreed. The only thing I'll really add to the Farley thing is if he didn't have the medical issues, I'd have taken him over Surtain just about every day, any day.
Yeah.
He's a freakish athlete, great in just every style. Farley would have been the better pick there if he wasn't injured. So,
yeah.
Like you said, that's a slam dunk or an absolute fail. And it's entirely based on Caleb Farley being healthy more than anything else. So, that's not even what I can blame the Titans for if that messes up. So, by and large, this was a good draft for them.
But the chance having back-to-back first-rounders just be complete busts is a gigantic risk.
Yeah. It takes some testicular fortitude.
But, I mean, this is 3 years in a row. So, Jeffrey Simmons, I think it was a torn ACL during his pro day. But there was something else. I don't know if it was a larger issue too, but he's a superstar. And then Simmons, Isaiah Wilson,
We'll move on to the Patriots. Jack, we'll start with you. I'll go through. We got McCorkle Jones, Christian Barmore, Ronnie Perkins, Ramondre Stevenson, Cameron McGrone, Joshua Bledsoe, William Sherman, and Trey Nixon.
So I was a pretty big fan of this draft. I mean, obviously, that does sound a little biased. I'm a Pats fan, but overall, I thought they did a very, very good job here with what was dealt to them ultimately with the Bears trading up and getting Fields. Because it felt like the cards were going perfect for them to get him. So to get McCorkle, I have no issue with it at 15. That's a good value pick. The pick that I liked more than any other pick in this draft was Barmore. I thought for sure he was going to Tampa at 32. And you could say they maybe traded a little too much to jump up and get him, but if they didn't do that, I would imagine he would have been taken in the span of where they traded up to and where they originally were going to be. Perkins, I have no clue how he dropped to where we were picking at. That was a big surprise. And an even bigger surprise was us taking a running back. I did not expect that at all, but Ramondre Stevenson, I've been seeing a lot of LeGarrette Blount comps, and that gets me very excited. We haven't really had that big, like, true bruiser of a running back since he left. We kind of had it with Mike Gillislee. That was like one game, and then he basically got benched. I don't know too much about McGrone, but Mason seemed to like that pick a ton. Bledsoe didn't really make a whole lot of sense just for the fact that it sounds like he's more of a box kind of safety, and that's the role Duggar plays, and I'm a huge Kyle Duggar fan. Sherman, it sounds like he could play outside or in, so that feels like a depth play, and I'm fine with that. And, again, Trey Nixon, same thing. I'm fine with that. 7th-round flyer, receiver. But overall, I enjoyed especially the first 5 or 6 picks. So I would say A for the Patriots. They did a really good job here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them an A-, and I have process to talk about it. They didn't trade up for a quarterback in the first round, and they stayed put at 15. And they still got Mac Jones. That's good process. Christian Barmore was number 17 on my big board, and there was he was the only defensive tackle I'm confident in that has like that real elite characteristic if he can make the jump in year 2 to 3, 1 to 2. So I love the first 2 picks, and I know that they traded up a little bit more, but I think that kind of shows that they're really confident in their evaluation of him. He's only got 481 snaps, so he's really inexperienced. He's still really young, and he's still learning. So I love Barmore there, and I think it's problematic for a lot of other teams for the Patriots to trade up for a player and then get somebody who is inexperienced. I feel like we see that every year. Perkins, yeah, I don't know why he fell. I love that. Stevenson can be your bell cow if you really wanted. I think that's a good pick. And then the rest is just depth. So this is a quintessential Patriots draft where they just dominate, which is, yeah. So I love taking a shot at a quarterback. I don't even care if it is Mac Jones. I love it. So I thought A-.
Yeah, I like this draft. It's really good. Probably one of my favorites to watch go down. Barmore was just insane that he was still there. I had no idea. I thought for sure he was going to go in the first. And then Ronnie Perkins, another one who fell. I was absolutely floored that he was still there. So yeah, overall, very good draft. Probably an A- for me as well. Stevenson's going to be huge for them at running back. Even though I was surprised they took a running back, but he's going to be a stud there.
I just wonder who's the odd man out now. It has to be Michelle, right? I can't see them getting rid of Damian Harris. I think he's phenomenal. James White's
unless
phenomenal.
There's an injury. There might be an injury we're not aware of. Like if Sony Michel's degenerative knee is bad still, or because Harris had an injury too. I just forget what it was. No, he had concussion, didn't he?
I think he got hurt at the tail end of the year, but that was basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we know they're tight.
And something that popped up maybe a little more towards the middle of the season, they kind of use running backs just based off of matchups. So maybe that's their plan. They're going to bring in Stevenson when they feel like they're going to go up against a big defensive front. And then maybe not so much with either Michelle or Harris, depending on how they play things. But, I mean, I'm not against going for a running back, especially where they got him. But it was definitely a surprise, for sure. And love McCorkle Jones.
Anyways, gentlemen, it was a pleasure as always.
Appreciate your insight, man. You enjoy your draft day and hopefully a better Jaguars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go buy a Trevor Lawrence jersey right now.
Yes, sir.
See you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Have a good one.
You take care, Brady.
All right, we're on this final stretch run. Let's fly right on through the Saints. Let's go make fun of the Saints for a second. Peyton Turner, Pete Werner, Paulson Adebo, Landon Young, Kawan Baker, and everyone's favorite fourth-round pick, Ian Book. I'm starting with Ian Book
Gross.
because
Gross.
that's disgusting. That is bad.
Adebo is the only good pick, in my opinion.
I love Adebo. I will say that.
Yeah.
Werner's underrated. I like Pete Werner. I think he makes it a D+, those two. But Ian Book just straight up makes us an F.
Yuck.
Worthy. That's bad. That's a bad pick. Unless they know
It
something.
made no sense.
Makes no sense. Like if you believe so little in what you have in your quarterback room, then why did you start Taysom Hill for multiple games instead of Jameis Winston?
That's what I'm saying.
Like there's no justification for anything that you're doing right now. I understand you're in shambles because you don't have Drew Brees anymore, but I feel like you should have been preparing for that this year, and you had the chance to start other guys, and you chose Taysom Hill. So you're dying in your own grave, and you chose to bring Ian Book with you into that grave. That's just dumb.
Ian Book, who, by the way, has won maybe 2 big games in his entire life. And major quotations around big when I say the Michigan game from, I want to say, either 2018 or 2019. At the season opener on NBC a couple of years ago. And that's basically it. And then that one Clemson game where you dodged Trevor Lawrence by virtue of him getting COVID.
Yeah, that's not a big game when Trevor Lawrence.
And then he smoked you in the ACC title game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I hate Notre Dame. I'm going to make no quarrels about it. I despise Notre Dame and everything they stand for, but Ian Book just not good. Not good. I like the Peyton Turner pick. I like the Pete Werner pick. Adebo's fine. Book completely kills this draft. Completely kills it.
Yeah.
All right, we've got receipts on this one.
Sean Payton gets fired. Goal line, I'm holding you to that.
Man, that's kind of a hot take, I think. But I respect it. I respect the hotness of the take.
He actively ruins the football viewing experience by putting in Taysom Hill.
I disagree with that, though. Honestly, I love watching Taysom Hill play.
They bring him in and he just kills drives.
That's one thing, but you're that's talking skill level. In terms of skill set and using a player different ways, I love the creativity. That part to me is so fun, and I'm still pissed that we weren't at the forefront of it because Tim Tebow is too damn stubborn to understand there's a bigger role for him than being a bad quarterback. So,
then he
but
decided
I
to be
love
a
the
bad
idea of it.
AAA baseball player, AA baseball player. And now he's trying to be a tight end.
Yeah.
Which is what he should have been from the start.
I saw that tweet from Schefter. I'm like, this is a parody account. There's no way this is real. And then I see it from Rappaport. I'm like, what?
I mean, this is how many years later? What? 9? This is almost a decade later.
Yeah.
Is a decade later from what
11
everyone
years
was
after he
saying
was
10
drafted.
years ago is he should have been a tight end.
Mind blowing.
So it's getting us self-awareness now.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Let's go to the Giants. They went Kadarius Toney, Azeez Ojulari, Aaron Robinson, Ellerson Smith, Gary Brightwell, and Rodarius Williams. Alex, the Eagles fan, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I really like the top 3 picks, but after that, it's kind of not really sure. Tony's pretty good. I think it was kind of a reach, but he's still a good receiver for them. Ojulari was a steal where they got him.
Huge steal.
I had him going first round, so he's a really good pick there. Robinson is pretty solid at cornerback, 3rd round pick. I really like that. But after that, Smith, another linebacker. I'm not sure why they would go there. they had other pressing needs at offensive line. They didn't even get any in the draft at all. They went running back in the second, Gary Brightwell. Not really sure what they're doing there. And then they went with another cornerback. Not really familiar with him as much with Williams.
I like Rodarius Williams pick. I'll say that.
But I think it's a solid pick though. But I did see that they got some offensive line help in undrafted free agents, so that's definitely good. I think they got like 3. I think they already signed like 3 guys undrafted. So as long as they get some help there, since they didn't do anything there in the draft, that's definitely something they need to do.
So
Yeah.
with a couple of nights to sleep on it, I'm starting to kind of somewhat come around on the Kadarius Toney pick. It feels like it was pretty clear that they wanted Devontae Smith, and obviously got taken by Philly, so that kind of ruined that for them.
And that's why they traded back. So,
But I don't think Tony's that bad, honestly. Like, he's electric when the ball's in his hands, and I don't think receiver was a gigantic need for the Giants anyway when they got Galladay, and they still have Sterling Shepard, and then obviously Evan Ingram, which this could be his last year in New York, but who knows?
Yeah.
Ojulari was an absolute steal for them in the second. An absolute steal. He was an animal his last 2 years at Georgia, and that he's gonna be a difference maker day one, I'd imagine. And then Aaron Robinson, another pretty solid pick. I was going to say I didn't get the Brightwell pick, but then I remembered Gallman's gone now.
Oh, that's
So-
right. Yeah.
So I can understand the Brightwell pick. So overall, I would go. I'm gonna go B on the dot for the Giants. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd probably say B for me too.
And on
then-
top of the fact that they got the picks for trading back with the Bears.
Yeah. Well, with Tony too, it wasn't that big of a stretch because I had him going like early second, so it's not terrible.
Man, I saw a big board that had Tony at 10.
Wow.
Really?
And honestly, like, when you listen to his explanation, I'd have to find it again. I don't even mind the explanation. I think it's a stretch. Like, I don't fully agree with it. But, I mean, maybe Gettleman did. Or something like that. I think Tony's a good player. I like him a lot, honestly. Maybe not at 10 on a big board, but I think he's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Ojulari, obviously, big steal. I'm a fan of Robinson. Smith is whatever. Brightwell fills a need behind Saquon, who's going to get hurt at some point. And I'm a fan of Rodarius Williams. I think that's a good value pick. Overall, yeah, I'd say B minus. This is a fine draft, and the Giants did what they needed to do. Moving on to the Jets, you have Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Jamian Sherwood. Funnily enough, it is Michael Carter the second, which is very fitting given he was the second one. Jason Pinnock, Hamza Nasruddin, Brandon Eccles, and Jonathan Marshall. Jack, the Patriot fan, we'll start with you.
If I'm going to be entirely real, there's really no reason Zach Wilson should have gone over Justin Fields. Like, for any reason whatsoever, honestly. I don't think Zach Wilson's bad, but I didn't get the call to go with him over Justin Fields necessarily. But still, you got your franchise guy. If you thought he was your guy, so be it. Can't really argue that.
I think it's young talent.
What I can argue is trading up to get a tackle or a guard rather, that you probably could have gotten where you were sitting. Again, not to say that Elijah Vera Tucker's bad. I definitely think they could have gotten him at 23 for sure. Elijah Moore was a great pick. I liked both of the Michael Carter picks for obvious reasons. Sherwood from Auburn, not a bad pick necessarily. Obviously, safety is somewhat of a need for them. Obviously, now Jamal Adams is gone, and Marcus May is somewhat in a dispute with the team, so that's a spot where they could probably use some depth. Outside of that, man, just okay draft. Probably could have been a bit better, but not bad. I'll say C+ for the Jets.
I can't believe you skipped Hamza Nasruddin. That is an absolute steal in the 6th round.
Oh my goodness, what am I seeing?
I love
How did I
it.
forget that?
I don't know what they were looking at, man. That guy should have been picked in the top 100, no doubt.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. And he got picked in the 6th round. That's an absolute steal. I think that the Jets got a lot better with that pick just because he can do so many things for him. I think his center field type coverage where he's playing back is a little iffy, but can develop. His ability to play going forward, play downhill, thumper, can play off the edge, can play in the slot. I think he can do a lot of things for him and fill a lot of holes. So that's a great pick for them in general, and it's incredible value in the 6th round.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a good pick. I love the pick. I thought he was going to go in the 4th round or even sooner. But Jack, you mentioned the AVT pick that was trading up for him didn't make any sense. I don't know why they did that, but I know I like Vera Tucker, but he not at 14. He would have been there for sure.
Like if he wasn't there at 23, that would have been a stunner.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But
Like, I can get trading up, but nine spots,
no. Doesn't make sense.
and they give up 2/3 off the top of my head, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Checking right now, I'm pretty sure that was the case though.
But
Yeah.
Elijah Moore, I really like too. That pick.
Yeah, that was a great pick. I have to give credit where it's due.
All right.
But overall,
Let's move on.
I'm just gonna give a grade for quick. But
All right, go for it.
I'd probably say B minus.
I can see it. Let's move on, Alex, to your team. I know you're very high on it, so I'll let you start. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, Zach McPherson, Kenneth Gainwell, Marlon Tuipulotu, Taron Jackson, Jacoby Stevens, and Patrick Johnson.
Yeah. So first, start with Smith. It was a great pick. Deciding to jump the Giants to get him, steal him from the Giants, his division rival. He was.
By trading with a division rival, too.
Yeah, exactly. And Cowboys and Eagles pretty much just work together to screw the Giants. But other than that, the health. I mean, the size is a concern for him, of course, but I don't think it's really going to be an issue. So I think he's going to be able to stay healthy and getting to work with his old teammate in Jalen Hurts is going to be huge. They already have chemistry. He's going to be looking at him every play, looking in his direction to try to throw it to him. I really like the pick. It's going to work out well. He's automatically wide receiver 1. Him and Jalen Reagor are going to be great together. And obviously Dallas Goedert. That's going to be huge, a big trio. And then Landon Dickerson in the 2nd round. That was great pick. I really like that they're we're putting him behind Kelsey. Kelsey's probably has this year, and then I think he's going to retire after this year. So that's huge to get somebody to replace him. Obviously too, that's another risk pick because he has injury concerns. So just coming back from a torn ACL this past year. So obviously any draft you have the risk involved with any pick really, but Dickerson is, if he stays healthy, he was going to be he's a top 10 pick if he was healthy. So if he can stay in the field, he's going to be really solid for that line in the future. Starting with next year, and I mean even if Kelsey gets injured this year, then he can step right in, I think. And then Milton Williams, that's a really good pick. He's an animal. I really love that they worked at the trenches, especially going into day 3 is to getting the tackle Marlon Tuipulotu from USC, and then Taron Jackson. Those were 2 really good picks. So they're really going to work to get after the quarterback. I love what they're doing there. And then going back to their 4th-round pick, Zach McPherson. I love the name, and the first D-back they got in the draft, and they definitely value that position. They wanted to work at that, so I think it's a really good pick for them. McPherson was not as high on my list as other corners that were there, but I don't mind the pick at all. So it's definitely something they needed to work on getting. And then Gainwell was an absolute steal. I mean, running back wasn't as big of a need as linebacker or safety, but Gainwell was there to take, and they need somebody to be behind Sanders. So I like it. I really like it. And he also grew up an Eagles fan, so that makes me like him more. And then moving on to their last 6th-round pick, they had 3 of them. Originally it was 4, but they actually made a trade with Washington, so another in-division trade for, I think it was a 5th next year. They traded a 6th and a 7th for a 5th next year. But with that pick, they got Jacoby Stevens from LSU, which I like the pick there. Safety, hybrid safety. He could play linebacker as well, so they got pretty much 2 needs there. That's kind of the guy there. You usually go for hybrid type of players, which sometimes don't work out all the time. So hopefully this one does. But I like him more than I like his name is slipping me, but the one that they had last that was a hybrid type guy that they got late. Damn, I can't think of his name, but and then Patrick Johnson, another linebacker. That was a huge steal. He was actually listed as edge. I mean, he was an edge in college, but they list him as a linebacker. So he's a guy that can he has versatility to move around. So I really like that. Overall, they got a lot of their needs set, and also they got Trevin Grimes for undrafted free agent, and the quarterback they got was who was it again? I forget his name now. From
Zach McPherson.
No, the quarterback.
Ooh.
I can't remember who the hell that was.
When? Nate Sudfeld?
Sud the dud.
No, Jamie Newman. They signed Jamie Newman.
Oh yeah. That's
which
another UDFA.
Yeah, I mean I can't hate it because they need a backup. They have Joe Flacco as the only other backup. So
Flacco's going to be QB1. You know it.
Like,
He's just entering his prime.
Like January Joe? Joe Cool?
He's entering his prime, so he'll be fine. I'm just kidding.
Cool Joe.
But yeah, overall though, this was really good. And then undrafted free agents, I was hoping they were going to get Washington or why did I just forget his name? Moses. But I mean, they didn't. But they still got some good solid guys there. I really like Grimes as another weapon for Hurts. So overall, this is probably an A. But obviously, the concerns with the first 2 picks are. That's definitely going to be a lot of weight on those to see how they work out.
For me, I have really no concerns about Smith's weight, at least not entirely. Obviously, you would like to see him get a little bit more bulked up, but if he played at that weight in the SEC and won the Heisman, are you really that worried?
Yeah, I'm not really that worried.
Yeah, it's that was a great pick. I was just shocked that they traded up with Dallas of all teams to get him.
That was a great move.
It was a great move.
Yeah.
And he's instantly your best receiver. The second he walks in for rookie minicamp. Dickerson, I agree with the fact that he probably would have been a top 10 pick if he had not been hurt. And now gets the added benefit of probably learning from Jason Kelsey, who may be the best center in all of football.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great pickup. Like Milton Williams, not a bad pick by any means, but definitely a pretty good one. Zach McPherson, elite name. You can't teach it. Gainwell, I like the idea of pairing him. Yep, now I'm forgetting the name. Great. This is your fault, Alex. Sanders. God. I've been fans for the last 2 years. How did I forget him? But pairing him with Sanders, I like that a lot. Tupelodu, again, never a bad idea to blow up in the trenches on either side of the ball. And I like Taron Jackson where they got him in the 6th. So that was a very good pick. Again, a very wild offseason for the Eagles from the projected, tanking in week 17 to now. I thought it was pretty good. So I wouldn't say A, but I feel like B is a little too low. So I'll say I'll give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here and go A-. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Covered everything I was going to cover. I like the Devontae Smith pick. I think anybody saying using the weight argument, that's just
It's so
lazy
stupid.
analysis at that point.
It's
Just
way-
looking for a reason not to like him. So
And
stick to your guns.
the argument I always use is not Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Jackson came in. He weighed in at 169, and he had a tremendous career. So
Exactly.
No, it's lazy analysis if you're just using the weight argument against him.
He played in the best conference in college football and won the Heisman, playing at like 150.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Let's move on to the Steelers. The Stillers. They went Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, Kendrick Green, Dan Moore, Buddy Johnson, Isaiah Loudermilk, Quincy Roche, Trey Norwood, and Presley Harvin.
How's the milk? Pretty loud.
It is pretty banging. I don't know. I think this is fine. I think they addressed things that they needed. Najee Harris was a good pick. I like that one a lot, honestly. Say what you want about, not picking one in the first round. Najee was worth it, I think.
Agreed. No, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Freiermuth, I think, was the best tight end in the draft. So I like that pick for them. I think it's just another target for Big Ben. You needed a replacement for Marquise Pouncey, so Kendrick Green's a nice spot for them. Dan Moore's going to help that line. Loudermilk's a great name. And I actually think he's a pretty solid prospect, too. Roche is a steal. Norwood's a good player, too. And I don't know anything about Harvin. But overall, I think this is a pretty solid draft for them.
Imagine not knowing anything about the checks notes. 4th-ranked punter. In this year's draft.
That automatically gets an A for that.
That's fair.
That's some lazy analysis. Sad. Sad. Incredibly sad. The most sad. But, I love Najee Harris. I don't think I've liked a running back this much since, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I think he's that good. Also love Freiermuth, Massachusetts kid, a North Shore kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily get the pick for him being Pittsburgh here, but there's no denying the talent. But I just didn't think it was the best pick they could have made in round 2. Kendrick Green, I definitely would have gone with Quinn Miners here, but they decided they liked Green better. Fun fact, actually, he has a branded fashion tattoo of the Omega symbol on his left arm, I believe it is.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty metal. So that's an extra letter grade for me personally. Loudermilk. What else can I say here about a guy with the last name Loudermilk? There's no way he's bad, right?
No.
At the worst, he's a rotational defensive tackle. At the absolute worst. Roche, I know a ton of Pats beat writers were in on Roche as a Patriot fit, so I like that pick. Norwood, as far as I know, can play both corner and safety. So, again, not a bad pick there by any means. And I was talking with a couple of friends of mine who were Steeler fans. Drafting Harvin probably means that their guy right now is gone, and his name's No, it's not Boswell. It's
Barry.
Yeah, Josh Berry.
Oh yeah.
Or yeah, Barry's definitely gone then with that pick.
Oh,
My big complaint is, though, I didn't like how they waited till round 3 to get an offensive lineman when that was clearly their number one need. Granted, Najee Harris was the best back in the entire class, and there was no way you were getting him in round 2, so I can understand that. So with that in mind, and I wasn't a huge fan of the Dan Moore pick, I would say this is probably a C plus or a B minus, and I'll probably lean towards the latter, B minus.
Yeah, I think this is fun
Yeah, overall, I think it's good. I mean, they address needs, so I mean,
for what it's worth, though, they definitely need to draft a quarterback next year.
Yes,
depending on what happens with Haskins. I liked Haskins when he came out of Ohio State, but if he doesn't pan out, they have to take a quarterback first round next year. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, no, that's out of the question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Seahawks.
Love this draft.
this is
3
great.
picks, so let's go through it just quick. Eskridge, Brown, Forsyth. I love it. I think this was given what they had, which isn't much, obviously. I love it. This was well done for them.
Given what they had, I don't think an A plus is out of the question. Maybe that's a little too far, but I would definitely say A for everything they had going on.
Yeah.
To have 3 picks and to come up with the guys they had, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Forsyth, again, you don't find guys like that on trees. He's a giant. Trey Brown, really good. Corner was definitely needed with Shaq Griffin going to the Jags. And Eskridge I think it could be a sneaky good pick for them. And then they obviously made a couple more moves at receiver and undrafted free agency, as far as I know. But
I don't think that's a sneaky good pick. That just is a good pick.
Yeah, that's true.
there you go. So I'll say A. For having 3 picks, they made out very, very well.
I'll give them an A for this. Honestly, 3 picks and y'all got these guys. I think that's well done.
They
Yeah,
deserve a lot of credit.
that's nice.
Definitely. All right, let's go to the 49ers. I feel like people are surprised by it, but I wasn't. Trey Lance, Aaron Banks, Trace Sermon, Ambry Thomas, Jalen Moore, Damador Lenoir, I don't know, Talanoa Hufanga, and Elijah Mitchell.
Solid.
It's pretty good.
I like the Trey Lance pick. I think it's better than if they went Mac Jones.
Agreed.
Past that, I mean, Trey Sermon's a good pick. I like Banks. Ambry Thomas is one of my guys at corner. Jalen Moore's good. Lenoir's one of my guys in the 7th round, like a late round gem kind of guy. And you got picked there. I like it. Hufanga's fun. Mitchell's good. Overall, I think this is fun. This is a good job.
I don't think it was any secret that I was a gigantic Trey Lance fan. So I think, especially now with close to being a guarantee that he's not going to start year 1 and kind of get to sit back and learn like the Shanahan system, there's a shot that he's one of the most terrifyingly good quarterbacks in the league inside of 5 years. Like, I think he has the potential to be that good. Trey Sermon, I did not expect him to go with a running back, at least this early. And you could say maybe there were some better guys on the board, but he has big game experience, which matters. And correct me if I'm wrong, when he transferred, he missed a year going from Oklahoma to Ohio State, correct? Or did he not have? Did he get the waive for missing a year? Really, though, either way, that I definitely like that pick. I was a big Sermon fan down the stretch with Ohio State. I thought he was really good. I scouted Hufanga for the website. Violent safety. He could definitely miss some tackles here and there. And he's not the quickest guy in the world, but he can play in a lot of different spots. Box safety, on the ball linebacker, edge rusher, slot corner, 2 deep safety. Really, whatever you need him, he can play. So I thought that was great value in the 5th. And Ambry Thomas, not a bad pick really either. And then I didn't really hate the Elijah Mitchell pick either. So I would say A minus. For
The only thing about Thomas is he's not a great tackler, but that's about it, and that can be taught. So I'm not overly worried about him. I like him a lot.
Agreed. And you can never go wrong with a Notre Dame offensive lineman with Aaron Banks.
Tuipolo too, it definitely gives me Polamalu vibes. Everything about him, not only body type and look, but the way he plays, he gives me Polamalu vibes. I like him a lot.
And he trained with them. He trained with them leading up to the draft.
Which I love because I think his play style fits very similarly.
It does. I think his best fit's probably a block safety. So
Yeah.
I think he might be one of the sneaky best defensive guys in this class.
I could see it. If they use him right, definitely.
I'm kind of curious why they didn't draft a receiver. I mean, well, they did end up getting Austin Watkins in free agency, though. So
That's a
fair.
great pickup. Watkins shouldn't have been a UDFA.
now
So that's a great pickup.
they also got Josh Peterson, who's the son of Doug Peterson.
I like it.
So is he going to be good for 1 year and this be bad for the other 4 before flaming out? Or is he good?
Give him credit for 2018, though, too.
No, yeah, he deserves credit. But outside of that, he was brutal.
Yeah, other than that, no.
All right. The final 3. Or no, final 2.
Yeah, final 2. Yeah, we already did the Titans.
All right. The reigning Super Bowl champs. I will leave Washington last because I want to say their name a lot. The reigning Super Bowl champs, the Buccaneers. They went Joe Tryon, Kyle Trask,
Yeah.
Robert Hainsey, Jalen Darden, KJ Britt, Chris Wilcox, and Grant Stewart.
This gets an F just for Trask.
I mean, what does everybody say about Trask? He's one letter away from being explaining who he is. I don't like him at all, honestly. I can see why people like him, but he doesn't fit my taste. I don't like him.
His offense carried him. Like, literally, he had Pitts and Tony, yeah. And don't forget Grimes.
Yep.
Like, Trask, Ellinger, and Book were all basically the same guy to me. I think Trask was the best of those 3, but they were all basically the same guy.
Yeah. No, Trask was definitely better than those guys for sure, but I still don't. I'm not a fan of him. I mean, last pick of the second round, that's fine, I guess, based on where other people were picking him, but not a fan.
No.
The Joe Tryon pick was actually pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure I said this earlier, but I thought Barmore would have been an awesome fit for the Bucs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Barmore would have been my pick there for sure.
You have him learn from Sue, have him take over in a year, and he's like the permanent inside guy, and he can play multiple different techniques. So that's a big deal for most teams, I would like to imagine. But Tryon's definitely not a bad pick. Maybe a little bit of a reach, but seeing how they basically were at the tail end of every round, I think you can live with that, or I would like to imagine that you can. Trask, not a good pick. Hainsey, not a bad pick. Never a bad idea to go with the Notre Dame offensive lineman. Jalen Darden, man, that was an awesome pick in round 4. They have 4, 5, maybe even 6 receivers that are all NFL like starting caliber, or at least like top 3 on any depth chart in the league now. So that was a really good pick. KJ Britt, not bad. Wilcox, not bad at all. And then Stewart, not bad. So I would say overall, I'll say C+. I definitely didn't like the Trask pick by any means, but outside of that, I thought it was solid.
Yeah, I like Britt, honestly. I think he's a pretty solid player and a very good special teamer.
Mm-hmm.
So I give him a good grade. Darden's good. So
Darden's their best pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't mind a bit of a reach for Tryon. I'd have preferred Barmore, but I don't mind the reach for Tryon, so I like it. It really is just bogged down by Kyle Trask at the end of the second. All right, let's cap this off.
Washington.
The Washington team with no name.
Yes, sir.
I don't mind what they did, to be honest. Jimmy
I love what
Davis,
they did.
Sam Cosmi, Benjamin St. Just, Diami Brown, John Bates, Derek Forrest, Cameron Cheeseman, William Bradley King, Shaka Tony, and Dax Milne. I'm going to take the lead on this one. Jamin Davis is my favorite linebacker in this draft, straight up. I love him. I think you can make an argument he was linebacker 1, especially if you don't consider Owusu Koramoah a linebacker. So I think that's a great pick. I don't know why people don't like it. That's a great spot. Ron Rivera, that's a Ron Rivera type player. Cosme is an absolute steal. Great pick there. St. Just is a nice corner to have. I think he'll help them a lot. Dammy Brown's a really nice running mate for McLaurin. Bates is a nice tight end. Forrest is, I don't know much about him. I believe Cameron Cheeseman was the first long snapper off the board, so I love it.
That was their best pick.
Love the name.
Absolutely.
Best pick.
Bradley King, I actually grew to really like throughout this process. I think he's a good player. Tony's fun. He's got some things to develop, but I like him. And then Dax Milne, I think, is good too. This was a good draft, I thought. Washington got better for sure.
Yeah, I hate how much I like this draft. It's another. I mean, at least the Cowboys had a terrible draft, so I can live with that. But this Washington is going to be dangerous for the NFC East. They won it last year at 7-9. I think they can maybe get 9-10 wins this year. I mean, they still don't have a quarterback, which
If Fitzpatrick pans out and is more Fitzmagic than Fitztragic, the NFC East is in trouble.
yeah,
Agreed.
I agree. But yeah, I'm going to talk about one of my guys, Shaka Tony. I loved him at Penn State. You know, like Zach said, he needs to develop some things, but if he has a really high ceiling, that if he can develop, he's going to be a stud, and that's going to be a steal in round 7 because I really like him. And Cheeseman, that's an awesome pick just for the name.
What else needs to be said about that? Honestly,
Yeah, Cosme though too. Cosme was huge.
yeah, Cosme was a steal.
That's a steal. That's a guy you could have argued the Raiders should have taken.
Yeah, obviously Mike was happy too with being a Texas and Washington fan.
Could not have worked out better.
Nope.
But I wouldn't say that Davis was my favorite linebacker in this class. He was definitely one of my 3 favorite. But I wouldn't say it was the penultimate number 1 lock. Regardless, though, I thought it was a great pick, especially with Zaven Collins off the board at that point, and Parsons obviously for that matter. Cosme, an absolute steal. I believe I had him 3rd on my big board entering day number 2. I scouted Ben St. Juste. I can comfortably tell you he's going to be great in Washington. An absolute press coverage animal. And he's 6'3" with a monster wingspan. So he's going to be a great cover for Amari Cooper, for Kenny Golladay, for that style of receiver. And there's a ton of them in the NFC. So that's a great pickup. Diami Brown, love that pickup. Cheeseman, just maybe their best pick. Maybe the best pick of the entire draft, if I'm being honest. Just
the best pick of the entire draft for any team.
Exactly, of course. So I'm going to go A.
Yeah.
All this considered,
Yeah,
they found their Trent Williams replacement. They got another defensive stud in Davis and St. Juste. And they added another receiver.
their defense is going to be so scary.
Yeah, one of the best defenses in the NFL already just got significantly better.
Yep, that front seven's nasty. And getting St. Juste in the back end's great.
Yeah.
That's not a defense I'm looking forward to playing this season at all.
I am so happy we don't play them.
Oh.
Anything else to add, guys?
No.
It's a great question. I would say Christian Harris, 2022.
Go Birds.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up then. This was a great weekend of draft coverage. This was a fun draft. I want to thank everyone who joined the show. So Jack and Alex, who are still here rolling with it. Mason did an outstanding job spearheading the scouting reports.
How about Charlie coming in
Charlie
very
coming
late?
in late and just
He came in very late and he crushed it. He
Yeah.
deserves so much credit.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cameron Nia, who wasn't able to join the show, but he did a lot of great stuff with the scouting reports. Brady brought some great insight. Joey, Johnny, everybody who joined in. Appreciate y'all for making this happen. Everyone who listened, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we can keep this stuff going. And with that, we'll sign off. Have a great weekend. Have a great off season. We'll see you again sometime.
We'll see you next year for 2022.
Draft season 2022 is already started, isn't it? All right.
Yep.
We'll see y'all later.
All right, take care, guys.